Arsenal are getting closer to signing Victor Gyökeres from Sporting Lisbon, with a deal almost agreed in principle. The Gunners are expected to pay $55 million for the striker, while add-ons are still being finalised. talkSPORT's chief football correspondent Alex Crook reckons it won't be too long till Gyökeres comes through the front door.
I think this one could develop quite quickly now. I know Arsenal have got a pre-season tour in the coming days, and I think ideally they would like their shiny new striker, and this is the first time they've signed an out-and-out number 9 in more than 3 years, to be part of that travelling party.
Meanwhile, talkSPORT understands Arsenal are close to finalising a deal worth around $18 million for Valencia defender Christian Mosquera. They're also expecting Noni Madueke to complete his medical soon, after he left the Club World Cup early and missed out on a winner's medal with Chelsea. Speaking of which, Cole Palmer admits he was a bit confused by a certain gatecrasher during his team's celebrations. It seems after presenting the Blues with their trophy, American President Donald Trump lingered a bit too long. Well, after their 3-0 win over PSG, there were some ugly post-match scenes, including manager Luis Enrique appearing to slap Chelsea's João Pedro. Although the Blues only have 5 weeks to rest and recharge before the new season begins, are they now title contenders, Simon Jordan?
I think Chelsea will be a good side next year. I think it's difficult to see them winning the league based upon what they're up against, but we don't know how these sides are going to react. The rebuild of Manchester City, we thought they were rebuilding, they get knocked out by the Saudis in a competition. And you look at Liverpool and you wonder, for the tragedy of what's happened at Liverpool, whether that will have an adverse effect, whether it will galvanise.
It might be a bit awkward in the Forest dressing room today. Morgan Gibbs-White has returned for pre-season. The midfielder was set to undergo a medical at Tottenham last week ahead of a move away from the club. And talkSPORT understands Leicester City are interested in signing Sheffield Wednesday defender Max Lowe this summer. The left-back is believed to be one of the Owls players that can leave the club on a free due to unpaid wages. Wednesday have been placed under a transfer embargo after players and staff weren't paid on time for 2 months in a row. For all your latest transfer news, head to our live blog at talksport.com.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT. Where this afternoon, Andy, please tell us what's coming up.
Well, coming up in the next 3 hours, Chelsea supporting comedian Omid Jalili celebrates being a champion of the world.
Yeah.
We're over at Portrush ahead of the Open, and Derek Chisora is here with our own Spencer Oliver to begin our build-up to Dubois Usyk 2.
We're also after your niche football fancy dress, plus refusing to take the hint, Donald Trump style, yesterday. And we'll drop in on both the Lions and Lionesses camps, Andy.
Yes, and there's all this. Plus, England bowler turned bell ringer Steve Harmison gives us his take on the test, and Danny Kelly brings us another highly entertaining sporting postcard from Ireland.
That's right, it is 6 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy.
Well, good afternoon. That was a surprise.
What, the cricket or the football?
No, the football.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and the cricket.
Yeah, congratulations on being a champion of the world, Andy.
Well, it's not so so much that, because, we all know it's a very strange tournament and all that, but you can only win what you can win, and what was important was the performance.
Yeah, it was a great performance.
It wasn't just like a 1-0 smash and grab, backs to the wall sort of thing, which you thought if Chelsea were going to win, that would be. They absolutely thrashed them.
Well, I mean, it's funny, Maresca has turned things around, because you weren't the only doubting voice a few months ago about his tactics and stuff, but he got it spot on, didn't he?
He did yesterday, and he has been getting it right, and they have been more attacking.
Do you think they've got a bit more direct? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
generally?
he's been encouraging them to go.
Stick it in the mixer.
Well, just, to pass forward instead of sideways.
Yeah.
But honestly, I thought it would be us that finished with 10 men losing 3-0. You just wouldn't have expected that at all.
Although, Cucurella, I'm sure he keeps his hair long, just so it can get pulled by players. Generally it works. It didn't work with Christian Romero for some reason, but it generally works, doesn't it? You'll get a card for someone.
It was incredible.
It must be quite tempting, because I imagine he gives you a bit of stick. But as he's running away, it must be quite tempting.
Oh, yeah, no, that's why he does it.
You can't grab a shirt. Yeah.
But, in the history of Chelsea, that is one of the best performances by any Chelsea team. I mean, it was right up
the
there.
Second goal by Cole Palmer, when he the dummy was a beauty.
So it was, very, very enjoyable. Yeah. I did play. I suggested to the listeners actually on Friday the halftime interview bingo, because the halftime interview is absolutely the most futile, pointless thing
They're
ever.
talking about doing it in the Premier League next year, aren't they? Yeah.
But I said every time a player says, well, it's been good, but it's 45 minutes to go. Yeah. There's still 45 minutes left. Yeah. Every time you get that, you tick it off.
It's only half time.
Yeah, it's only half time. 45 minutes to go is the one. Just stick it in. And that's all you'll ever get out of that interview. Players are going to say, oh, yeah, we slaughtered them. They're rubbish, aren't they? I expect we'll get more in the second half. Yeah. No player's going to say that. Oh, it's absolutely ludicrous.
But, very good.
Anyway, to cricket, and on Saturday, this will feed into your call subject.
Oh, yeah.
So I turn up at the at Lord's with my mate, and we're in the tavern stand.
Oh, okay,
which is, very nice. It's sort of used to be.
Is it the old debenture bit?
No, it used to be sort of the bar area, but it's still a sort of nice area to watch cricket. And I was wearing, quite a nice sort of Italian round, a bit like you're wearing today, round neck top.
Oh, yeah.
Get to the door, and the woman says, oh, no, you've got to have a collared shirt to get in here. Really? I said, it's the tavern. She said, oh, no, it's the Pavilion Overflow.
Oh, right. So no, it's the Pavilion Overflow.
I know. So she said, you'll have to go and buy a shirt.
Blimey.
So I had to go and buy this hideous green Lord's polo shirt. It's absolutely disgusting.
You're never going to get any, as a star counsellor, you won't get much wear out of that.
How's that better than the lovely Italian top I'm wearing?
Why don't you show her the label and show how much it cost you?
I should have done.
Got it up
honestly.
Got it up on the phone.
It's so poor. It's so typical Lords. It's such a ridiculous place.
Harmy rung the bell this morning at Lords before start of play. Great honour. But he suddenly had a tie on, but I don't think he'd worn a tie for about 30 years. So apparently, he'll tell us. The word was that it wasn't his tie.
No.
We'll find out, or was he prepared?
I was doing one of my mad ones, because actually the cricket was really dull for the first 3 days in this game, let's be honest. And Saturday, I kept missing all the incidents. Every time I turned around, we went off for an early lunch, so I missed the run out, having watched the whole boring morning's cricket.
We've all done that.
Then we were having a lovely lunch, so I said to my mate, we don't need to get back, it's quite dull, this, isn't it? So we missed another wicket. Then I was looking at my phone, I missed another wicket. I mean, honestly. Yeah. And then I went home a bit early, because I had to get back. And then I missed the last half hour, which is the only exciting bit of the whole.
Well, you're not alone, apparently. There's been a survey that says more than half football fans have missed a goal during a live TV game because they were on the toilet. Others said they were raiding the fridge, making a cup of tea, or had their backs turned, and an awful lot of them were texting or looking at their phones. I think we all knew that. Everybody's great moments in sport you've missed by looking at your phone.
I started to get really annoyed by KL Raoul, who's a wonderful player, but I just thought that they were going, will he get his 100, his 100? I said, look, this 100 doesn't even count. I said, this pitch is so flat. I said, I'm going to go in, and when they put his name on the board, I'm going to tip exit out. I'm going to say it doesn't count. I was doing all that.
Just put an asterisk next to it. That's what you do. Anyway, just 2 wickets left and no recognised batsman, really, although I'm tempting
Jadeja is still in there.
Oh, yeah. Well, but he could hopefully run out of partners from an England point of view. We'll get Harmy's take on that shortly. I was at a stag do at the weekend in Glasgow, and the stag, who's my friend's son, who I've known since he was born, was also my youngest son's best man, and they went quite easy on him on his stag in terms of fancy dress. We did see a few stag do's there, and there was some lad who was walking around in in a sort of pink see-through dress. And we were at Transmit on Saturday at the music festival. And so they went easy on Tom, and he wore a Scotland shirt. Not actually... Well, it's like a Scotland T-shirt with a slightly shonky logo on it. But on the back, Hutton too. It was a homage to Alan Hutton. As he played for Tottenham... And we didn't want to wear, Rangers or Celtic, which were probably asking for trouble. Just decided to go nice and neutral. But the amount of people, especially Rangers fans, who were coming up wanting a picture, and we were walking across from one stage to another, and a guy came up, he said, "Hi, I'm from Glasgow Live." He said, "We're doing a compilation of all the very best dressed people on day to a Transmit. What's the story with the outfit?" And he, did the Tottenham... And also, Tom was wearing a bald wig all day as part of his tribute to Alan Hutton.
Was Alan bald? I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, yeah, now I think about it, he was.
Not a hair on his head. Completely bald. So anyway, he had this bald wig on, and he made 5th best dressed person at Transmit Day 2. So anyway,
that's quite impressive.
I'd say that's pretty niche. He had the full kit on. He was proper you know what I mean. He had the full kit on. So niche, very niche. Football fancy dress. Yeah, bit of niche football fancy dress. I think a couple of the boys reached out to Alan Hutton via his social outlets. I never heard back from him yet, but I didn't. I hope he took it in the right way. That he was fondly remembered.
Is that fancy, Alan Hutton's social outlets? It does sound like one.
That's it. So anyway, a very niche football fancy dress. talksport.com/H&J. Text to 81089. Tweet to TSH&J 03717 223344. Not getting in without, if you weren't suitably attired like Andy in his expensive Italian T-shirt, why didn't you get a picture of yourself in that green top?
I did.
Oh, have you got one?
Oh, yeah.
I will put that on the socials. Should Andy wear it again, or should he burn it and then put it in a little urn and they can play for it? The Lord's Ground Star versus talkSPORT.
Honestly.
Okay, we'll do a bit of that. And what was the other thing we did? Failing to take the hint. I mean, have you ever rocked up? Everybody's. Oh God, that is pretty horrible on you. Yeah, you don't look. You look like a member of the ground staff.
It was cheap.
Yeah,
well, it wasn't cheap. It was 40 quid.
God, blimey!
I know, 40 quid.
40 quid for a Lord's polo
to get
shirt.
in. So on top of the price of the ticket, and I had to buy the shirt. Thanks.
That's great. That only happens to you.
Yes.
So all of that. And Donald Trump standing in the picture to the point where Rhys James says, "Are you going to stay there then? You're not going to move." Yeah. So
so Trump that
it was very Trump staying in the picture till he was slowly eased out when Infantino grew a pair and decided he was going to do something that was mildly negative. So anyway. Not taking the hint, staying in the picture. talksport.com/H&J. Text to 81089. Tweet to TSH&J. Got loads of stuff for you there then. We'll kick off with Harmy. Yes, it is delicately poised currently. India need 81 runs to win with 2 wickets remaining. And not a great deal of batting left beyond the man who's still out there. So Bumrah will be in next, won't he? Or has he already come in? I think
he's coming in now. That was the last ball before lunch. Well, they took lunch.
Yeah.
And he made 50, Bumrah, the last time they played at Lord's. So, but you wouldn't expect it, but you never know.
Yeah.
It's been an amazing test match, even though the first 3 days were. It's funny the way the pitch changed. That's very unusual,
Harmy will tell us about the great honour ringing the bell at start play at Lord's this morning and reflect on where we're at so far and all manner of other stuff today. Lionesses, we're up at Portrush. Got to look ahead to the boxing. We've got a big night of boxing this weekend. Dubois Usyk 2, Derek Chisora popping in with Spencer Oliver. So loads to go out today. We're here with our good friends at Tool Station. Delivery in as little as 30 minutes with Fast Track. Next stop, Tool Station. Yes, it's all happening at Lord's. 81 runs required by India, but they have just 2 wickets remaining. It's been some mornings play.
Yeah,
been some morning for our next guest, one of our own, of course, here at talkSPORT, the former England fast bowler. The great honour today of ringing the bell at Lord's, and he looked very smart, I must say. It is Steve Harmison. Hi, Harmy.
Afternoon, gentlemen. How are we?
Good.
Good. Congratulations on that. That's a lovely honour.
Lovely. Was that your tie, or did you borrow it?
No, I had to borrow it, unfortunately. I had to borrow the shirt as well. I mean Matthew Hoggard sent me a message to say, did you not want to ring that bell this morning because there was no smile? I said, Hoggy, I was struggling to breathe. I mean, the shirt, obviously working on the radio, we don't need anything smart, and I had the honour of being asked, I think, on the end of day 2, I think, to say if the game goes to the 5th day, would you ring the bell? So I've been frantically going round to try and get a jacket and a shirt and a tie, and I think it was an MCC charity tie. I think that was the one I was wearing. So I was very honoured, humbled to stand on the balcony and ring the bell and listen to some kind words from the announcer and get the proceedings starting. And what a day we've had so far. I mean, it's been unbelievable.
It is quite a bold combo. It's a sort of polka dot shirt, Andy, with a striped tie.
Oh, yeah, no, you look very
like it.
smart.
Yeah.
At least you didn't have to buy a shirt like I did on Saturday to get into the tavern stand. Absolutely ridiculous. They said to me, oh, there's a pavilion overflow.
Yeah.
Absolutely ludicrous.
40 quid it cost him.
And also getting in and out. And if you want to go out, and used to just give you a little pass-out card.
Yeah.
And now it's a complicated business and
really?
right.
Times it's a different world.
Never mind.
You've got to fill forms out to get out the building.
Yeah.
I know.
I tried to borrow a shirt off Sam Allard, but he's put a stone on since he's been here with how good the food is. So I couldn't get one off him. So I managed to just take for whatever I could. But like I said, the honour of being asked to do that in this historic building, it's brilliant. And I mean, this Test match hasn't disappointed. The first session, I mean, when England started, I would have gone with Carse and Stokes after last night, having seen Archer, but because Jofra had a night's sleep and a refuel and ready to go first thing this morning, Ben Stokes has thrown him the ball, and he's averaging 91.4 miles an hour in that first 5-over spell. It was brilliant, and he ripped the game open.
It looked like he hadn't got his rhythm, though, didn't it, Army, at first? That seemed to be he just hadn't quite got going, and then he bowls that rip snorter, doesn't he?
It's amazing what happens when a batter decides to charge you, especially if you're a fast bowler.
Yeah.
The worst thing that Rishabh Pant's done in this series so far is run down the wicket to Jofra Archer. He woke him up. He poked the bear. I mean, the beast was awake now, and he could just see in his body language, you could see in his demeanour and his eyes. The next ball went flying through, and then he knocked him over and give him a send-off to basically say, try and charge that, because it was probably the delivery of the series so far, the one from Archer to get rid of Pant, and that there just fired England up. It fired Stokes up. There was another one or two set twos in the middle. I think it was a little bit of an accident actually with Carson Jadeja, who were both ball watching, both being a bit dozy, and Jadeja ran into Carson. Carson put his arm around his neck, but I think Carson was trying to stop Jadeja from falling over as the two of them collided, and it's just made the series and the needle and the theatre of it all so much more palpable.
Yeah, it's been a very, very unusual Test match. The first 3 days were. I mean, I thought Saturday was quite dull, apart from the last half hour. It's pretty dull cricket, really. But then the pitch changed, and then the whole thing changed. But do you not think, Harmy, whatever happens, I think changes need to be made? I mean, watching Crawley bat, it's like he's on a slip-catching loop. What's the point? I mean, there's got to be some point where they go, look, go back into county cricket. Go and do something with your technique. You can't keep getting out in exactly the same way.
Unfortunately for Zach, he does do that in county cricket as well. I think he averages lower in county cricket than he does in Test match cricket. No, I mean, for all that, the want of change, I think January the 10th when the 5th Test match against Australia finishes in Sydney, and that series will be over, and I think that's when you'll see a change, if there is a change with somebody like Zach Crawley. Until that last wicket there, Chris Woakes' position might be on offer for the Manchester Test match. We don't know where Shoaib Bashir is, so I'm expecting a change there. You probably have to look after Archer. So even if England do win this, there will be changes, but I'll not be at the top of the order. Zach Crawley, Ollie Pope will bat number 1 and number 3 for England, and I think they'll bat all the way through till Sydney in them positions. England like continuity. They like the way they are in the side, and they see right in moments we feel as though they can contribute, but at this moment in time Crawley's not really contributing to big scores to the team.
So what's the conversation amongst the England team, the England bowlers at the moment, Harmy, at lunch?
You've got obviously you've got Jadeja out there. I'd imagine the plan would be to make sure that the whole field is spread and because India have to take the runs that are on offer. So, and then they get Bumrah out there, and there'll be, I imagine, 1 or 2 people reminding Brydon Carse, Ben Stokes and Jofra Archer just how ferocious that Bumrah was, and the blows that he dished out. And I think they'll try and make it as uncomfortable as possible for Bumrah. And then the minute Siraj comes out, wow, you're going to see some fireworks. I mean, England will be at him. Everybody, I think even the umpires might be chirping Mohammad Siraj when he comes out, because he's give it to everybody. He's give it to all the England players. He's give it to the umpires. So I would imagine Mohammad Siraj comes out needing 70 to win. I can see the England players not quite giving him the guard of honour, but I tell you what, they'll be very, very close to him when he comes to the wicket, because they'll be giving him one almighty volley, because he has dished them out this week. And I think when he comes out into the hollow turf of St John's Wood, he will cop an absolute barrage of abuse when he does, and rightly so, because whether you give it, you've got to take it.
No, absolutely.
Stokes on Saturday afternoon, and I was there in the heat and everything. I thought he was amazing. That spell was incredible. And today he's bowled for nearly 2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, never mind, doubts about his fitness. I think, you can take those with a pinch of salt now, really.
Yeah, and the Saturday afternoon one, there was a brilliant piece on TV, which was, and it was great, because the camera went on to Brendan McCullum on the balcony, and a message was being relayed to him via Tim Southey, the bowling coach, who was standing next to Stokes on the balcony, and it was as if Brendan McCullum had basically said to Tim Southey, right, go down there, tell him a joke, get him in a good mood, and then tell him to stop bowling, because we need him for the end of the Test match. And the energy levels he's got at this moment in time, and whenever Stokes gets a chance of a sight of a victory, big performance, I mean, it's very difficult to get the ball out of his hands, and he was brilliant in that first section this morning. And I wouldn't be surprised once Chris Woakes has had a couple of overs, if needed, Ben Stokes comes back on along with Archer to finish the game off.
Well, should be fascinating, Harmy. We'll let you get back to it. All the best, and congratulations again on the bell. Everybody got their jacket and their tie and their shirt back, did they?
They did, yes. I've gone back to being a tramp again. So it was a great honour, and thanks very much, guys. Really appreciate it.
There we are. There's Steve Harmison, former England fast bowler, part of our team, bringing you the overseas commentary of the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel. So if you're overseas listening today and you want to listen to the closing stages of the Test match, go and check out our cricket YouTube channel on talkSPORT, and you'll be able to hear Harmy and Neil Manthorpe and John Norman and the gang bring you commentary.
Yeah, Andy and Bent here on Sky Sports News. I don't know what they're doing. I know that Andy's coming
in later on.
Podcast, but I don't know what that is.
They're kicking off a new podcast, which we'll tell you a bit about later on. So anyway, that's all coming up. Fancy dress, John the Bradford fan. I was mentioning I was at Transmit in Glasgow on Saturday, and the stag was wearing an Alan Hutton shirt and bald wig combo. John the Bradford fan, mate of mine, was dressed on his stag as Stuart McCall with ginger mullet and full Bradford kit. However, the former Bradford player Ian Ormondroyd, remember Big Ian?
Oh, Big Ian.
At Villa as well,
yeah.
He scored against Tottenham. Was part of the stag party. People kept thinking that we'd hired him for the day, but I had to explain he was with the stag and he knew him. So we're looking for niche fancy dress. I mean, not the obvious thing, somebody just slings on the obvious, but something that's right out there. A bit of niche fancy dress from the world of football. I mean, yeah, ideally, well, definitely football. Football Nice fan. And why? Did you see the Prime Minister, by the way, Andy? He was playing football again with his mates. He's wearing a sort of vintage England shirt, white socks, just normal white socks. But the shorts, I mean, I don't want to say they're a nod to Boris Johnson, but they're not Adidas. There's two stripes. They've got the look of board shorts. When Boris would go out for a run in a pair of like Bermuda swimmers and a Craghoppers fleece and a beanie and a pair of hiking socks.
I always thought he only ran about 100 yards.
Yeah. I also think, you curate that look. If you just sling on anything you can find, you don't put a combo together like that. You do it because you're a self-styled character, don't you, really?
Yeah.
Anyway, niche fancy dress in the world of football. talkSPORT.com, text 81089, tweet TSH and J. We'll be joined later on by Danny Kelly, another postcard from the world of Irish sport. Andy Brassell's popping in very, very shortly, though. Plenty to talk about, including, of course, what happened to PSG. That's all to come.
Arsenal are getting closer to signing Victor Gyökeres from Sporting Lisbon, with a deal almost agreed in principle. The Gunners are expected to pay $55 million for the striker, while add-ons are still being finalised. talkSPORT's chief football correspondent Alex Crook reckons it won't be too long till Gyökeres comes through the front door.
I think this one could develop quite quickly now. I know Arsenal have got a pre-season tour in the coming days, and I think ideally they would like their shiny new striker, and this is the first time they've signed an out-and-out number 9 in more than 3 years, to be part of that travelling party.
Meanwhile, talkSPORT understands Arsenal are close to finalising a deal worth around $18 million for Valencia defender Christian Mosquera. They're also expecting Noni Madueke to complete his medical soon, after he left the Club World Cup early and missed out on a winner's medal with Chelsea. Speaking of which, Cole Palmer admits he was a bit confused by a certain gatecrasher during his team's celebrations. It seems after presenting the Blues with their trophy, American President Donald Trump lingered a bit too long. And talkSPORT understands Leicester City are interested in signing Sheffield Wednesday defender Max Lowe this summer. The left-back is believed to be one of the Owls players that can leave the club on a free due to unpaid wages. Wednesday have been placed under a transfer embargo after players and staff weren't paid on time for 2 months in a row. For all your latest transfer news, head to our live blog at talksport.com.
in the blue corner, Chelsea.
And in the white corner,
Paris Saint-Germain.
Palmer with the corner, and Cole Palmer has scored for Chelsea. They take the lead in the Club World Cup final. Palmer comes in field onto the left foot again. Oh, he's done it again! Cole Palmer with another wonderful goal, and Chelsea are on the brink of world domination. Paris Saint-Germain are all over the place. They're rattled, and he threads it through. Here's João Pedro with a great opportunity. João Pedro makes it 3-0, and they are cantering to the World Championship here, and that's it. Chelsea are the world champions, and they have absolutely hammered Paris Saint-Germain, the Champions League winners, in the FIFA Club World Cup final by 3-0. Donald Trump hands over the trophy, and now the celebrations can really begin. Once again, Chelsea finish on top of the podium, and this time it means they are the world's best.
Well, there's your commentator, Nigel Adley was alongside Dean Ashton for our commentary of the final.
Steady on, Nigel.
Well, you know, you can't argue, them's the facts. But what happened to PSG? Andy Brassel was with us in the studio from Trans Europe Express, of course, a European football expert. And it was weird, wasn't it? When you watch a team a few days before do what they did to Real Madrid and then have a number done on themselves in the way that Chelsea did yesterday.
I guess it was and it wasn't. We'd seen them hit a brick wall, and I saw them hit a brick wall in person against Botafogo earlier in the tournament, so it is possible to defend them, to limit them, and because they've been so brilliant in 2025, especially, I think we forget that. I think the other thing we forget is who are the teams that have caused them the most problem in 2025.
Villa.
Premier League teams,
Yeah.
Villa and Arsenal in the second leg of the quarter-final and the semi-final, and really by putting the onus onto them to actually do some defending. I think Vitinha is quite a good example of that. You know, someone who is in the running for the Ballon d'Or. I don't think he'll get it, but certainly I don't think it's ridiculous to link him with the possibility of it. But he's such a good defensive midfielder when they've got the ball. Less so when they haven't got the ball. And it was interesting hearing Cole Palmer say afterwards, I knew I would get the space.
Yeah.
The coach told me I would get the space. And he's absolutely right. I think a lot of people have tried to pin it on Nuno Mendes. Of course, they didn't have William Pacho, their best defender. And it just felt like it was a game too far for PSG. And probably, you know, we can talk about Real Madrid as being the other big rival in the tournament. Actually, the team that I'd least rather face is a Premier League team.
Yeah.
Do you think that they were a touch complacent? I mean, absolutely everybody, including myself, to be honest, thought they'd win. I mean, I was suggesting Chelsea went with a 1-9 formation.
I did see, though, yesterday, our old mate Rodney Marsh, somebody was asking him on social media, and he said, everybody says PSG, but I'm not so sure. So maybe some of the old pros could see that Chelsea... But, I mean, it was brilliant from Maresca, wasn't it? The job that Maresca did. It was the way he set them up, the way he played tactically. It was very good for him.
Really, really smart. And it obviously watched a lot of them, watched a lot of what could work against them, and not a lot of teams have managed to carry that off. I mean, we talked about Villa and Arsenal there. They did a really good job on them for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Not for the whole game. Obviously, the bit of the game where Chelsea did it was the key part and allowed them to control the rest of it, and particularly in that heat. I think when you go a couple of goals down, it's really hard to get yourselves up again, especially when PSG, and no one's complaining poverty in terms of what they've got available to them, but actually they had quite a short bench. I think the red cards in the quarterfinal really cost them as well, and it was just a bit too far.
I was going to say, actually, I'm gone out of my head now. We're talking about PSG.
Well, I was going to ask you, Andy, what did you think? What are your thoughts about the tournament as a Chelsea fan before it happened and now?
Well, I still feel the same. It's a bit of a strange tournament that nobody needed or wanted, really. And for me, it was never about whether they were going to win. I didn't think they would, but it was never about that. It was about developing this team. I mean, I've been saying for about a year now that I feel like next year this team could really challenge. They've got something about them. They've assembled a great young squad. And after some sort of false moves, sort of sales-wise and purchasing-wise, they seem to be doing some good... I mean, Madueke is a good deal for both clubs. It's good for Chelsea. They make a £32 million profit. It's great for Arsenal. And then they've got Esteval coming in. So there seems to be some succession plan. And that, to me, really was what the whole tournament was about, just to see how much they could go on and improve. But, obviously we all know that this is the thing about football, it's the beauty of football, that come August, the Palace at home on the first day of the season, you can forget all this. No, but you can. That's what the Premier League is. You've got to start all over again. And who knows, what will happen in January, February, after having played all summer.
Yeah, exactly.
Gyökeres looks like it's going to happen to Arsenal. What are your thoughts on that, Andy?
I think it's absolutely the striker that Arsenal needed. I don't think there's any doubt about that. They needed someone who's very different to what they already have, someone who's dedicated, scoring goals. Remember, 63 for club and country last season. I know people say, Portuguese Liga, but he scored them in the Champions League, he scored them for Sweden as well in the 2 with Alex Isak, which shows you how adaptable he is. Yeah. He's totally ready for this. He's so desperate to make this move happen. He's left money on the table. Him and his agent have waived their fee that they're entitled to, their 10% of the cut to get this deal to happen and make sure Sporting get their money. Obviously, he'll be paid quite well for Arsenal and he'll get a bit of a pay bump, but he could have got more elsewhere, and this is the challenge that appeals to him. But I think it's really interesting if you look at the market in general. So many of these guys who would have been taken off the table, and I'm thinking particularly centre forwards, you think they're the most valuable players in the game. They go super quickly, and actually getting Gyökeres and Osimhen, which is not going to happen because he's going to go to Galatasaray, to the Premier League, players that would have been snapped up in an instant for the prices they're available at in the past. In this post-PSR world, they're almost impossible to make those moves happen because they're almost considered too old at 26. Because like clubs would rather now buy players that are going to become players. Like a John Duran, for example, is far more valuable to a club than a Gyökeres to an Osimhen, which is crazy, really.
Yeah, that does seem strange.
Yeah, we were noting though that because you're talking about the Club World Cup and the sort of players we saw, Arias has joined. I think Wolves is about to join Wolves, and he looked really good. So it just shows how strong the Premier League is. Every team, apart from Manchester United, seem to be able to get stronger. I mean, don't know what they're doing. That's another story altogether. But you can see once again 7 or 8 teams really battling for those top 4 or 5 positions.
Yeah, James McAtee is going to pay a visit to Frankfurt this week to sort of check out Eintracht and see if that's a good move for him. There's teams here that want him: Everton, Forest, 1 or 2 others. Dortmund, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, the thing is, we've seen
the 2 on the train, right?
Yeah.
But City and Chelsea are very similar in the way that they have so many players that in the end they're going to make other clubs stronger because they can't keep all their players.
And it's been their industry really for over a decade, hasn't it? Using their academy to sell players on, which is something that actually Real Madrid were doing back in the Galactico era.
Sancho and Garnacho. I mean, quite what's going on with Garnacho and Napoli, you can tell us. And Jadon Sancho looks like that's a bit further down the road to Juve, yeah?
Yeah, they're still waiting to shift some players, Juventus, so that's what's holding it up. But look, Jadon Sancho clearly has his sights on that as the right sporting move for him. Could have gone to Fenerbahce for a lot more money. Essentially, I feel that what Sancho did with Fenerbahce, he asked for an amount of money that a builder asks you for when they don't want to do a job around your house. They set a really high price, and then all of a sudden they turn around and go, yeah, all right. Yeah, that'll be fine. And he was like, you're really going to give me 12 million a year after tax? And then he went back to Juventus and go, actually, maybe I'll accept a little less to play for you, because he feels it's a project and he feels he wants to stay at one of the biggest clubs in European football, having not come to that agreement with Chelsea. But Garnacho's an interesting one. I mean, this is all key for Manchester United if they're going to keep spending and keep strengthening, because we know they haven't got that much wiggle room, particularly post the Cunha signing, and they've earmarked the money from Bumo as well. But those 2 players aren't going to do everything that they need to do to that squad. So Garnacho, I mean, I think Napoli have got quite a strong hand there, because they were saying 50 million euros is our limit when we were going back to January. And at that point, Napoli had just sold Kvaratskhelia. There was the sense that Conte was really pushing them to do something. You must do something for me now. Now the relationship between De Laurentiis and Conte is a little bit better. And they'll be able to say eventually, if they leave it, I think this is one of those moves that, if it happens, will happen in the back half of August, because Napoli will be saying, well, look, you need to sell him more than we need to buy him.
Sure.
Essentially, they know Noah Lang is coming in from PSV. If they get Dan and Doy as well, maybe even they don't buy Garnacho. We'll have to see.
I think Chelsea would be interested actually to the end of exactly in the same way, right at the end of the window.
If ever there's a player who needs the right coach, that's him, isn't it?
Yeah. A little late loan deal, you think, maybe. What are Palace, finally, Andy, what are Palace's chances of Cass overturning the decision, you think, they're winning on appeal?
I'm hopeful for them for a couple of reasons. Firstly, the fact that the rules changed, and the rules changed mid-season for what you needed to do. Of course, Marinakis and Forrest reacted a bit more quickly than John Textor did, and John Textor is a man who, I listened with interest to his interview on talkSPORT last week, but he is a man who got Lyon a 2-year transfer ban for forgetting to pay a €2,000 debt to a club, who forgot to renew the naming rights to the stadium. And since he's not been in charge, Lyon have managed to not get relegated and put themselves in a far better position for next season. You know, the new president has done a better job in a week and a half than he did in 2.5 years. So a lot of this is due to Textor's attention to detail, even if you think that maybe Steve Parish, as the guy who's presiding over it, should have done a bit more. Clearly, there's the fact that UEFA have been sending the emails to the wrong place, giving them the info on that. And also, there's the sense that UEFA were waiting for the Lyon decision about their appeal about getting relegated into Ligue 2 for financial reasons to do the work for them, rather than actually pursuing the case. So it feels to me like Palace have a few different avenues which to approach this. I feel like in a normal, reasonable environment, I think UEFA would be able to say, look, okay, we accept it's an oversight, we accept you've taken steps to deal with it, which they have, or actually it's more the lender to John Textor, who's made him accept that Woody Johnson offer, the New York Jets guy, to sell those Palace shares, because he's not going to get most of the money. Only 40 million of it was ever going to be going to Lyon of that 200 million. But I am hopeful, and I would hope common sense prevails, because it's been set up as a Lyon or Crystal Palace thing, mainly because of this UEFA decision. It shouldn't be. They both qualified for the Europa League, and they should both be in it.
Yeah, absolutely. They qualified on the pitch, and that should be it, really.
Andy, good to see you.
Yeah,
in the flesh. We don't often say lovely to see you again. Trans Europe Express went out last night, a bit later than usual, with Danny and Andy, and it's available as a podcast. So if you like a deeper dive into the world of European football, go and check it out at the talkSPORT app or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm going to talk a bit of rugby next. I've got to watch the Lions against the sort of Anzac team the other day. Wasn't much of a contest, unfortunately. Maybe that's what the Aussies wanted. We'll chat to Rocky Clark, formerly of Saracens and England, and look ahead to the first test proper this weekend, which of course will be live and exclusive on talkSPORT. We're here at Tool Station. Get thousands of products delivered to you with Fast Track on the Tool Station app. Next stop, Tool Station. Just before we talk rugby with Rocky Clark and a bit of Lions, let's check in with Sam Allard. They're back out after lunch and they need 75 to win, do India, Sam?
Yes, 118 for 8, and 75 is the magic number for India. 2 wickets is the number that England need, 2 more wickets to wrap up this game. Chris Woakes resumed his over with 3 balls remaining, bowling to the new batsman who's Jasprit Bumrah. Bumrah yet to score a run in this series, but in his 9 balls so far has looked pretty solid in defence. His Jofra Archer from the pavilion ended by a beautiful spell this morning, got things going by bowling a beauty to Rishabh Pant, the England seamer, throwing a ball down the leg side that a diving Jamie Smith could not stop, going to the boundary for byes. But other than that, gents, been a pretty, well, nothing really else to report in this session. Archer just bowled a couple of decent short balls to Ravi Jadeja, who of course is going to try and hog most of the strike. Jadeja's on 23, Bumrah yet to get off the mark. 118 for 8 is 2 wickets for England for victory, and for India it's 75 runs.
Thanks very much, Sam. We'll be keeping a very close eye on that. Yeah, got to watch the final warm-up game the other day. And, there was a bit of a no contest, really. I'll be interested to see what Rocky Clark, former of England and Saracens, part of our team, bringing the Lions, made of the performance and what we learned from it. Hi, Rocky.
Good afternoon, gents. Yeah, I agree. It was kind of a one-way street in terms of Lions being so dominant. Did we learn loads from it? I'm not convinced we did, but certainly gave us a chance to tinker a few things, look at a couple of other people and, work on in practice what we've done, put it into game situations. So you could see the opposition were kind of undercooked and hadn't been a team. So that was a difficult one to play against, and so actually Brumbies was our toughest test. So it's all to train for this week, going into that first test.
It was really about people that will be replacements, you kind of sensed. And I mean, Pollock, he'd be a great wild card. You expect him to be on the replacements bench at the weekend, Rocky?
Yeah, I think he's just got such X factor, hasn't he? And he just brings something so different to others. You are guaranteed with him at least 1 or 2 line breaks. He might score you a try. He'll certainly set somebody up, and he'll just inject that pace. Maybe last 20 minutes, a tiring defence, bring him on, and he's even comfortable chipping the ball and regathering. So I think we could see big things from him, and I think this has become the man for sure.
Yeah, there was that moment, wasn't there, when he tried that. Yeah, he was a bit frustrated. It didn't quite come off. But yeah, he's audacity. That's what he's got. And he will try stuff. As long as he doesn't kind of give the ball up cheaply to the Aussies and they score a try at the other end, it won't be a problem.
No, absolutely. I think he's grown throughout the tournament as well. But I love that he's still raw. He's still got bags of potential. But yeah, he is showing some real class as well, especially when he played those first warm-up games with his breakthrough. And one of the biggest thing about him is his second touch, his work rate off the ball, super fast, and just that decision when to offload, when to not. He's certainly one to watch for sure.
Someone from Saris is making a 24-hour trip currently from San Juan to Buenos Aires, Dubai, and then Brisbane in Jamie George. He said he would have swum it if he had to, but he's obviously chuffed to be there. Yeah. But what do you think he'll bring to the camp?
Well, I think you noticed in the England game against Argentina where he wasn't allowed to play, they really missed his leadership, and he's just somebody who's just quietly goes around his business. His high work rate, he makes other people look good, and he's still got a really good skill set. So I think he was very unlucky not to go on the line. So obviously played in that first game, but certainly he'll be absolutely buzzing to be here and back on tour, and I think he'll take his opportunities when he gets them.
I've been reading about this Australian player, Suwali. I don't know if you've seen him.
Suwali, Two Eyes.
Yeah, Two Eyes, that's right. Yeah, he sounds pretty decent.
Yeah, he certainly is. He came onto the scene against England, and he just lit up the attack for Australia. He's a real, he's come from league and he's come across, and just his ability again, that offloading game. If you play off him. He'll make half a break. He'll get that offload in, and then that's when it's hard for the defence to stop you because you've got in behind them. And his opportunity to play through the line. He's in form and he's a big character. So yeah, I expect big things from him.
And we're seeing some late call-ups, aren't we, just as cover in key areas. I mean, I suppose that's always likely to happen. But they've called up a bunch of players, haven't they?
Yeah, they certainly have. There's quite a few on the list. Obviously, notably Jamie Osborne, Jamie George, Tom Clarkson. And then we've got the Scottish contingent coming as well, Darcy Graham, who got red carded, and then to go from red card to getting the Lions call. That's a bit of an interesting few days for him against Fiji, but he's come, and Ewan Ashman and Rory Sutherland. So there's been some depth coming into the squad now, and this is to fill out that second game, that midweek game, to make sure that they've still got the bodies for the test game. So, nice little thing to get the call up and go across, watch some rugby and play some decent ruggers too. So yeah, that'll be amazing for those guys.
And finally, we talked about Henry Pollock's audacity. He says we want to smash them and win 3-0. I mean, you feeling pretty confident going into the first test?
Well, it's interesting. Itoje played it down a little bit. But he was saying, basically, no player's going to go, "Oh, we just want to win 2." Yeah. You're always going to say, "Yeah, we want to win all of them." But it was interesting. Itoje saying we take one game at a time, and we could well see. I think most fans would be happy with a 2-1 win. And so for there to be jeopardy in that final test and going into it, but I think Lions will win it. Whether or not it's a 2 or a 3 point time victory, who knows? But yeah, I certainly expect the Australians to bring something to the party. We haven't quite seen it. We've seen what they do in terms of the breakdown, kickoffs, and how much the physicality and the line speed that they bring. But I just wonder, they've got a few things up their sleeve. So it's going to be edge of the seat stuff. Can't wait.
Excellent. Okay, we'll catch up with you later in the week, Rocky. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Rocky Clark there, formerly of England Saracens. And our coverage starts at 10 o'clock here on talkSPORT. And 11 o'clock kickoff for the first test between the Lions and Australia, exclusively live on talkSPORT. Still to come this afternoon. In the next hour, we'll be chatting to Derek Chisora. He's in a, again, always fine head. Well, I was reminding him last time, he's had a bowler on last time. I mean, he found a vintage bowler that took his eye. This time he's gone for a bit of a summer Panama.
Oh, really? Okay.
But he's popping in because we've got Usyk Dubois 2 for you this weekend, and he's going to pop in with Spencer. We'll also talk about Hamza Shiraz. We're all statement win for him at the weekend as well. Man, he's been a guest in the studio and we've been looking out for since. Really impressive guy. Balmid Jalili is a champion of the world, as is Andy. And we'll be chatting to him, the Chelsea supporting comedian, very shortly.
Arsenal are getting closer to signing Victor Gyökeres from Sporting Lisbon, with a deal almost agreed in principle. The Gunners are expected to pay $55 million for the striker, while add-ons are still being finalised. talkSPORT's chief football correspondent Alex Crook reckons it won't be too long till Gyökeres comes through the front door.
I think this one could develop quite quickly now. I know Arsenal have got a pre-season tour in the coming days, and I think ideally they would like their shiny new striker, and this is the first time they've signed an out-and-out number 9 in more than 3 years, to be part of that travelling party.
Meanwhile, talkSPORT understands Arsenal are close to finalising a deal worth around $18 million for Valencia defender Christian Mosquera. They're also expecting Noni Madueke to complete his medical soon, after he left the Club World Cup early and missed out on a winner's medal with Chelsea. Speaking of which, Cole Palmer admits he was a bit confused by a certain gatecrasher during his team's celebrations. It seems after presenting the Blues with their trophy, American President Donald Trump lingered a bit too long. Well, after their 3-0 win over PSG, there were some ugly post-match scenes, including manager Luis Enrique appearing to slap Chelsea's João Pedro. Although the Blues only have 5 weeks to rest and recharge before the new season begins, are they now title contenders, Simon Jordan?
I think Chelsea will be a good side next year. I think it's difficult to see them winning the league based upon what they're up against, but we don't know how these sides are going to react. The rebuild of Manchester City, we thought they were rebuilding, they get knocked out by the Saudis in a competition. And you look at Liverpool and you wonder, for the tragedy of what's happened at Liverpool, whether that will have an adverse effect, whether it will galvanise.
It might be a bit awkward in the Forest dressing room today. Morgan Gibbs-White has returned for pre-season. The midfielder was set to undergo a medical at Tottenham last week ahead of a move away from the club. And talkSPORT understands Leicester City are interested in signing Sheffield Wednesday defender Max Lowe this summer. The left-back is believed to be one of the Owls players that can leave the club on a free due to unpaid wages. Wednesday have been placed under a transfer embargo after players and staff weren't paid on time for 2 months in a row. For all your latest transfer news, head to our live blog at talksport.com.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Hawksbee Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We asked you earlier on about niche football kits for fancy dress. I was at a stag do where the stag at the weekend was dressed as Alan Hutton with the Hutton 2 on the back of his shirt and the bald wig, which, considering the weather in Glasgow, he managed to keep on all day. Well done to him. Ian in Blackpool said, we did a full football fancy. I did see a few people just in shirts. I think these kids have been told to wear shirts of their rival clubs. I did sense they weren't just wearing ones they wanted to. We had a Jason Lee, a Peter Schmeichel with his trademark red nose, and I dressed as Ian Botham wearing a Scunthorpe shirt and cricket pads. I mean, wandering around in cricket pads, that always sounds like a good idea till like you're about 15 hours into the stag and your legs are sweating. Thank you, Ian, very much. Talksport.com, text 81089, tweet TSH and J. Let's hear from Enzo Maresca. Should have been patting himself on the back after the job he did yesterday. But of course, he was full of praise for Cole Palmer, and quite right too.
These are the games where we expect Cole to appear because they are big game, big moment. And once again, I think he show how good it is.
He did a piece. I saw it. Our old friend Quaker Afari's out working for DAZN out there, and they had a walk around Central Park and a chat. And he said how much he gets himself up for finals. He loves finals. He finds an extra gear. Blimey, and he did that all right, didn't he, yesterday? What's it like to be a champion of the world? Andy, you've told us. How's it feeling for comedian and Chelsea fan Omid Jalili? Hi, Omid.
Hey, guys. Chelsea are back. Hello. Chelsea are back. What a fantastic night. And I have to say, I would like to just give a shout out to my son. You know, all the millennials who follow Chelsea. He lives in Sicily, so he watches every game online. I haven't been. I kind of lost a bit of faith. And he just said, you know, they're gonna qualify for the Champions League, and I bet you any money they'll do really well in the Club World Cup. I watched one game. I watched the Flamenco game when Jackson got sent off after 4 minutes, and in typical Middle Eastern style, I just threw my slipper at my phone. And next thing he told me, he goes, "Dad, are you watching? We're through the quarters." I said, "No, of course not." And he goes, "Are you watching? We're in the semis." I said, "Of course not. I'm not going to watch." And then he sent me a clip of João Pedro's 2 goals. I said, "This is ridiculous." So I watched the game. I couldn't believe my eyes. I mean, the commentator said that PSG got PSG'd in the same way John Terry got John Terry'd by Donald Trump. So I've been putting lots of pictures of Donald Trump at the Champions League final in 2012 next to John Terry. I've got him next to Sinner and Alcaraz. I've just done a whole run of Trump. He's changed the algorithm. But I have to say, honestly, I don't know what you guys thought. I thought Chelsea were absolutely imperious. Yeah. Although we should not get too carried away. They did have an extra day's rest, but they won the game and they played. They could have scored 4 or 5. As soon as Cole Palmer hit the side netting, and I thought it was in, it was one of those things where you couldn't tell. Even when he scored, I wasn't sure he'd scored. But I just thought Chelsea were imperious. They made PSG look like a pup team, and this really bodes well for next season.
It was odd, though, that they started to tire Chelsea. They really looked tired towards the end of the first half, and then they scored, which really helped with the sort of energy levels. And Robert Sanchez, who I don't know about you, Omid, but I've never really thought that he was that great. But he had the game of his life. He was absolutely brilliant yesterday.
Absolutely. I was watching that. I was texting everyone saying, if they score in the first 15 minutes, and there was that one chance, which I don't know, who was it? Was it
Doué?
Someone, Doué or someone, and it was a fantastic save. But honestly, just seeing Donald Trump there, I love Reece James saying, "Are you going to get off the podium?"
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah." And Infantino comes in, he goes, "Right, lads, let's get to the back." Yeah, I just thought that's one of the. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if this Club World Cup will happen every 4 years in America. Donald Trump will still be president, and he'll still be on the podium. And I tell you something, this could be. It's not controversial to say that they wouldn't replace the World Cup, but in terms of importance, you've got all the best teams, all the best players there. And the quality of the football was actually very good. I watched some of the YouTube clips. Who knows? It could become a real thing. And I was very proud that Chelsea are the inaugural winners. But it did feel significant. It didn't feel like just a Mickey Mouse summer tournament like we used to do before World Cup when Roberto Carlos scored that amazing goal.
Le Tournoi
against France and Le Tournoi in 97. It's not like, it did feel there was a bit of meaning to this. And there's $1 billion. I don't know. How much did Chelsea win in the end?
115
or 101. Nobody knows.
$115 million.
Around between 100 and 150.
Well, you paid for João Pedro and a bit more.
We paid for João Pedro.
But this is what,
Yeah, go on, sorry.
No, I'm just going to say this is one of the sort of misunderstood things about Chelsea. I mean, they've already sold this window. They've sold sort of about £100 million worth of players already, and they've still got other players to sell. So although they do buy and have spent a lot, that's what they are. They're like a player trading company, and that's you can see them. I mean, they got rid of Madueke because they've got Esteval coming in. Have you seen this bloke play? He looks really special, and I think that's the secret of it.
No, it's very good. The only thing I'm concerned about is what did João Pedro say to the Luis Enrique at the end? What happened there? Do we know what happened? Because that's very. Because Luis Enrique is a bit of a hero now because everyone wanted PSG to win because he'd lost his 9-year-old child, but to see him smack him in the face was like what have we bought in João Pedro? And there's a part of me thinks this is what we need. We need a bully. Him and basically when Delap came on, they kind of bullied. They bullied the PSG defenders, which is what you want. You want your players to be strong, Alan Shearer type players. But what did he say to Luis Enrique? I mean, but probably it's not good to speculate.
He said
I think that's a great sign.
He said, he went on as a peacemaker, Luis Enrique, and I think he just said, things happened, I got wrapped up. I just think there was a lot of verbals going on between players, and he goes in to keep the peace, and in the end sort of hands a player off.
One thing I did think, and I've wondered this for a while, do you think that, that when a team's trying to see out a game, they often start an argument? Like there'll be something at a corner or something, and then there'll be handbags, because it's a great way of wasting time.
Yeah,
and I just wonder if they do that deliberately, because you often see it this wasn't a close game, but in a close game, you'll see a fight break out or a pushing and shoving, and I think they do it deliberately because they know ref's never going to add on time for that.
Well, there was a moment actually. There was a lot online about PSG's kickoffs. And then second half, what they do is they knock the ball down by the corner flag and they come and press. But obviously Maresca told them, get the ball and roll the ball back to them. And that's what happened. Chelsea just kicked the ball back to them, like, come and have a go. And I thought that was a very good sign that we're not scared of you. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. And especially Delap comes on and he's like grappling with Dembele, like, don't touch me. Then Levi Colwill comes in. I like that. I like the Chelsea players because they are the youngest squad. I'll never forget. You'll remember this, Andy, when we saw Reece James' first game, 18 years old. He come on. I don't know who it was. It was some 30-year-old player. He just grabbed him and threw him to the ground, and the stadium erupted. We thought, this kid's 18, but he's going on 38. He'll have a scrap with anyone, and that's what you need. That's what Chelsea have been lacking a little bit. That kind of mentality, which is strong, never going to be bullied, and we get to bully other teams, and I love that about this. This is a Chelsea team I can love.
Ahmed, you're still on tour. You're having a bit of a break, but you're back out soon, aren't you? Is that right?
Yeah, back out in September. It's going really great, and go to my website, omidjalili.net, and grab the last few tickets. It's been going fantastic. Thanks, guys.
Brilliant.
Thanks for letting me just express how excited I am. These are good times for Chelsea fans. Great times.
Cheers, Omid. Thanks very much.
Take care.
There we are. There's comedian Omid Jalili. Go and check him out on tour.
Yeah, he's very funny online too. Puts up a lot of funny videos.
I've just been looking at his Trump stuff. Yeah, he's put him in pretty well. It's a nice bit of Photoshop work there. When I was a goalkeeper for my village pub, I wore a pair of Prince Nazim Hamed boxing shorts. And goal. We just mentioned the Prime Minister. Looks like he's got a bit of a board short on there. He couldn't find his football. I could be doing him a disservice. He was playing football. A bit of a vintage England shirt yesterday. So anyway, we're interested in niche football fancy dress. Also, Andy was refused entry to what used to be called the Tavern Stand, but is now called something Overspill.
Well, it was the Pavilion Overflow.
Pavilion Overflow, yeah. Adam in Weybridge in Cornwall says, I once went to a nightclub wearing a T-shirt and a jacket with a collar. The doorman wouldn't let me in because I didn't have a collar. I said to the doorman, if I take off my T-shirt and put it on over the top of my jacket, can I come in? And the guy said, for your audacity, yes, you can.
No.
So, that's what you should have done, Andy. Might have paid off. Great goals you missed. Andy missed most of the wickets the other day because he was either stuffing his face or looking at his phone. I missed the Peter Enkelman own goal from the throw-in, says Pete, the Birmingham City fan. I was only 12 rows back. I was looking upfield to see where he was going to kick it when I wondered why everybody was going crazy. Just didn't bother. Well, why would you bother looking? You think, well, you don't expect it to roll under his foot. talkSPORT.com, text 1889, tweet TSH and J. And another Sunderland fan says, I managed to miss our winning goal in the playoffs when I decided to go to the toilet to be ready for extra time. Next time I'll just hold it in, he says. Get in touch this afternoon, 03717 22 3344. Some good news from an England fan's point of view. At Lords, let's return there. Sam Mallard.
Yeah, 125 for 9. Chris Wokes has got Jadeja LBW going around the wicket, getting a ball to angle back into the left-hander. Jadeja tries to come forward and defend. He has sent it upstairs. He's got to do it. Just having a look at a replay, is there any bat on it? I think it goes straight onto the pads. Yeah, there's no bat on it. It's on the pad, given out on field. So for Jadeja to survive, gents, it's going to have to be missing the stumps completely. If it's clipping, it'll be umpire's call, and India will be 9 down, and England will be looking for one more victory. Really good delivery from Wokes. Here we go. Oh, and he's going to survive because the impact is outside the off stump, so Ravi Jadeja survives. Really, really good review, and the score will remain 125 for 8. The impact outside off stump. Jadeja stays at 26 not out. Bumrah's got 4. England still looking for the 2 wickets. India need a further 68 runs for victory.
Thanks, Sam.
Oh,
wow, that was
so
close.
Lucky.
Yeah, I mean, look, he was going to review it anyway, obviously.
Whatever happens.
Whatever happened.
So, I'm surprised that umpire got another decision wrong. He's brilliant, that bloke,
He's
isn't
not had a great day, is he?
He's had a great test match. He's hopeless.
Okay, so it stays the same, still 68 to win for India. We're back to Sam later. We're talking boxing next. Derek Chisora's popping in with Spencer Oliver to look ahead to Usyk Dubois 2 this weekend live on talkSPORT. Well, I've got a big fight for you this weekend. It is Usyk Dubois 2, controversial, the first fight. Can they give us their thoughts on that? Or a man who has fought one and sparred with the other. And our very own Spencer Oliver's popped in as well. The guys just Derek Chisora I'm talking about, of course. Good afternoon, guys. Good to see you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, today, Derek, you've been in with Usyk and you've done a bit of sparring with Daniel Dubois. How are you seeing the fight this weekend?
You know what? Safe money is on Usyk, but you never know what the Triple D is going to come and do. You know, the last time we sat in the same studios, we had AJ winning the fight.
Yeah.
And then AJ got clapped out, you know, so AJ had a bad day in the office, so you never know.
What do you make of Dubois when you sparred with him?
Listen, when I was sparring him, he was a boy, now he's a man, do you understand? So now he's come totally different. You know, he's had about 4 wins back to back in good style as well. So right now, he's just going to the top.
And there's that sense of injustice of what happened in the infamous low blow in the first fight, and Usyk bought himself a bit of time, and so that's going to be. I mean, you got to control that.
Well, listen, he's used his experience, isn't it, Usyk? Whether it was low, whether it wasn't low. I thought personally it wasn't. Derek thought it was low. You know, it's one of those ones that we don't know, but the result ended up being the result, and Usyk, showed his class in that fight after getting himself up off the floor, a 4-minute break he was down for or something like that. But you got to look at where they're at now. Usyk has had those 2 fights with Tyson Fury and won them, in my eyes, and won them quite clearly. He done enough to win those fights and hasn't showed any signs of deterioration. But you look at Daniel Dubois and see how he's grown. Derek just said it there. He's gone from being a boy to a man. I think the 24 months that he's been with Don Charles, the first fight being the Usyk fight, ironically, we saw him there, and I think that was the fight that moulded him, and he's gone on since then to beat Jarrell Miller, Filip Hrgovic last time out at Wembley Stadium, Anthony Joshua, and you just look at that and you just go, this kid now is on another level. Boxing is all about timing, and it could be Daniel Dubois' time. I really believe that. But he's up against not just a generational great, I think it's fair to say an all-time great, and the man to my right of me, Derek Chisora, will know Usyk better than most, because to me, Derek was the guy that showed the blueprint on how to beat Usyk, what you got to do to take him out of his rhythm. And I think that if Daniel can take some of that, and implement some of the stuff that they've been working on in the gym as well, he's got a real shot.
Yeah. How much will age affect Usyk? He is getting on a bit now, isn't he?
Yeah, everybody keeps saying that, but you know what?
Yeah, no, I'm asking.
I think age, when you're that older, you're more wiser. It's like a bottle of wine. The older it is, the tastier it is.
And this is the thing about you talking about with the age now. Sports science is different now. The way they look after themselves. The nutritionists they have around and all that. Like Derek's even older than Usyk, and look at he's in the best stage of his career. He's gone. Derek's, when did you turn pro? Like 2006, 2007, something like that. He's been around forever. He's like a dinosaur, but he's at the best stage of his career now because he looks after himself. He trains well, and Usyk is that guy, by the way.
Yeah.
He lives, eats, sleeps the sport, and like he's clean, and that's why he's that's why he's still doing what he's doing.
So what is the secret then if you're taking on Usyk? What did you learn from your fight?
You have to be more
Derek?
crazy than him. You have to want it more. You have to go to the other side where you don't want to go. Do you understand? So if you are prepared to go to the other side, you could win the fight. But if you are doing 50-50, you're gonna get knocked out.
Do you feel that Daniel's got to get it done early in the fight?
Listen, we say early, but Alexander will say I want to do early too. So we'll see what happens. It's only Saturday. Wembley Arena. I'm buzzing for it.
Yeah. Everyone's talking about Alexander Usyk being the guy you got to go out there and you got to put him on the back foot. But I'm going to ask this question to you, Derek, because you shared the ring with him. How difficult is it to put Usyk on the back foot? Because I think that Usyk will come out and try and command that centre of the ring and put Daniel on the back foot. How difficult is it going to be for Daniel to put him on the back foot?
It's going to be difficult, but Usyk is always using movement. So you come forward and you go sideways, and he's still in the middle of the ring. You won't go back to the ropes. He'll just go left, right, moving sideways, basically.
He seems a really intelligent boxer, guys. Whenever you watch him, he seems sometimes it takes him a little while to suss it out. But once he knows what to do to get the job done.
And that's what it is, not just the intelligence of him. His boxing IQ is very, very high, but again, Derek will answer this one better than me, but you look at him and historically, Anthony Joshua was a great example of that. You know, after 9 rounds, you go to fight still there to be won and lost. It's a 4-round fight. But Usyk has this ability to be able to turn the screw in those last few rounds, and Derek pushed him to the wire as well. Usyk actually says you was his toughest fight, but it's those last few rounds, Derek. Where does he find that from? You know, that extra bit of, you know, power, the extra bit of speed. Where does that come from?
Fitness, and you have to be more crazy to get in there to understand. You know, where, you know, the championship rounds are the most important rounds in a boxing fight. You know, like 10, 11, 12. If you lose 10 and the time you draw 12, you might lose the fight. But he picks up on like 10, 11, 12, and then he goes all the way.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Well, so if we look at the heavyweight scene, dependent on what happens at the weekend, does it go in a different direction, Derek, in your eyes? You look at the other players out there, there's Tyson Fury and AJ and others, but if Dubois wins or Usyk wins, does it go in a different direction?
No, it will stay the same way because everybody else is, you know, Tyson right now, he's resting, you know, Anthony Joshua is resting as well, so I think when they come back, they'll have one of the belts, I think so. But right now, it's just we just have to concentrate on Daniel and Usyk.
Yeah. Another heavyweight fight, Moses Atoma and Dillian White. I mean, how are you seeing that one? It's an interesting one, isn't it?
How interesting is it?
Well, I mean, I think
put it this way: how interesting is it? Because it's like this. Don't get your TV late. Because you'll be watching reruns. Dylan's gonna get sparked out. I give
you really.
Yeah. I mean, like, listen, if Moses don't take Dylan out in round 2, yeah, I don't know, but I see the final getting past 3 rounds.
So you rate Moses highly, then, obviously.
Mate, Moses has smoked everybody he's been in the ring with.
Yeah.
So why not? I mean, like, he's the future.
Yeah. I mean, he's a pretty fearsome fighter, isn't he?
Yeah, he's phenomenal. He's, you know, Derek, to echo what Derek said, you know, he's taken out everybody that has been put in front of him, and guys that are put in front of him to push him, to give him the rounds, like Dempsey McKean, who took Hrgovic 12 rounds. You know, you look at that and he just went and obliterated him in a round. You know, Mariusz Wach, who's a great big giant of a man, has got a head the size of a medicine ball, and he just dismantled him, like took him out in a couple of rounds. Like, you know, how high is the ceiling? How good's Moses Atoma going to be? But he's a young, dangerous guy. He's the future of the heavyweight division for sure.
Yeah. Quick one on Hamza Shiraz, guys. The other day, that was some performance against Berlanga, wasn't it? And it's opened up a lot of doors for him. First time at that weight as well.
Listen, moving up from middleweight with a lot of questions to answer, because in Carlos Adames, that draw that he got out there was very controversial, and he boxed well below par. Now we can see why, because he jumps up a weight division, super middleweight, looked better, stronger, goes into the lion's den against Berlanga, who's like, you know, he's loved over there in New York, and he was a big favourite going in, and he obliterated him. I mean, that was a first-class performance, world-class performance, Derek, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know, his last fight was not great, you know, Hamza, but, you know, Hamza knew what he had to do. You know, he got hold of Andy Lee. Andy Lee showed him how to train properly and do everything right. You know, so I give this victory personally to Andy Lee, because, you know, Andy Lee showed him, you know, even the way he actually destroyed him in the last couple of rounds, knocked him down at least 3-4 times. You know, before that he was not doing that, you know, with his old coach. You know, this victory right now is for him and Andy Lee, to be honest with you.
There's all this talk about Canelo as well. I mean, he couldn't knock Berlanga out, could he? So that'll be quite interesting. Should that ever happen, how do you see winning that one?
Listen, he made a statement, didn't he? I think you should ask Del Boy. What do you reckon? Can he beat Canelo?
Why are you ignoring the question? Answer the question.
I'll answer it, but I'm just intrigued to hear yours. I think the answer to your question is yes, he can beat Canelo. I think that he showed that. If you weigh up Berlanga versus Canelo and Hamza versus Berlanga, I think he's got the tools to do it.
You agree, Derek?
Me, I see that fight will be a draw.
Oh, really? That'd be worth a flutter then, won't it? Yeah. Well, it depends.
He's talking about me getting spooned and sitting on the fence. What's he going on about there?
I said it'll be a draw. Be a draw.
You're not going to go one way or the other.
No, it'll be a draw. Say one will be a draw.
It's going to be a draw.
Yeah. So Your 50th fight.
Yes, sir.
Do we know he's going to? I've heard a few stories about Joseph Parker 3.
Yeah, that's the rumor, but you never know with rumors. I'm mandatory to the IBF. I can't. One day, I might meet the IBF president today or tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm mandatory for that. So, and I just hope nobody try and take that away from me. Because right now, there's so much haters out there, so I'm just hoping nobody does that.
Will that be it? Will you raise your bat then, Derek? You want to get that 50th fight and done?
I'm 50 fight and I'm doing school runs, my fella. I even ordered a bus for my kids to take them to school.
Well, good to see you.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll hear from you during the week
Yeah,
the big
good.
fight. And thank you, Spencer. We'll definitely catch up with you during fight week.
Yeah,
so
thank
thanks
you guys
very much.
Just by the way, did you say Dubois would win this fight or could win this fight? Well, I mean, you haven't really given us a definitive answer. There.
It's going to be a draw.
Who do you think?
Not going to be a draw at Wembley, I wouldn't think, with Daniel Dubois, is it? It seems unlikely.
Oh, sorry, are we still on? I apologise.
Oh, no, we're still on.
No, we're still on. Listen, whatever happens, Wembley is going to be amazing. Save money is on Alexander Usyk. Yeah. So Daniel has to come in there and do something amazing. Do you understand? He has to find something amazing and do it for him to win. But he will not win on points. He will win by a knockout. Sure. He has to win by a knockout. If he thinks he's going to win by points, no. He has to dig deep and fight and fight and fight. That's it.
Well, it's going to be fascinating. Thank you, guys. Thanks very much. The latest edition of Talk Boxing with Simon Jordan, Spencer Oliver and Derek Chisor is available tonight on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel from 8 p.m. And don't forget, you can hear the big one between Usyk and Dubois live on talkSPORT this Saturday evening. We'll get the sports headlines for you next. Going to pop in on the Lionesses camp after their big win against Wales yesterday. And that postcard from Ireland from our old mate Danny Kelly. That's all to come.
Arsenal are getting closer to signing Victor Gyökeres from Sporting Lisbon, with a deal almost agreed in principle. The Gunners are expected to pay $55 million for the striker, while add-ons are still being finalised. talkSPORT's chief football correspondent Alex Crook reckons it won't be too long till Gyökeres comes through the front door.
I think this one could develop quite quickly now. I know Arsenal have got a pre-season tour in the coming days, and I think ideally they would like their shiny new striker, and this is the first time they've signed an out-and-out number 9 in more than 3 years to be part of that travelling party.
Meanwhile, talkSPORT understands Arsenal are close to finalising a deal worth around 18 million for Valencia defender Christian Mosquera. They're also expecting Noni Madueke to complete his medical soon after he left the Club World Cup early and missed out on a winner's medal with Chelsea. Speaking of which, Cole Palmer admits he was a bit confused by a certain gatecrasher during his team's celebrations. It seems after presenting the Blues with their trophy, American President Donald Trump lingered a bit too long. And talkSPORT understands Leicester City are interested in signing Sheffield Wednesday defender Max Lowe this summer. The left-back is believed to be one of the Owls players that can leave the club on a free due to unpaid wages. Wednesday have been placed under a transfer embargo after players and staff weren't paid on time for 2 months in a row. For all your latest transfer news, head to our live blog at talksport.com.
Uh, 57 more runs India need against England at Lords.
They've gone an hour now without taking a wicket. It's looking good for India, I think.
And he's getting so concerned, you think Bumrah's going to do it in singles over 38 overs.
What they're doing is they're giving Jadeja a single every over, and Bumrah face 1 or 2 balls, and they're not getting anywhere with this policy. So they've brought Root on, which is not a bad idea because Jadeja will definitely go after him. There's no question.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we'll see what happens, and we're back Sam Ellard if there's any developments. But we're going to talk about Euro 2025 now, and England's women had a big win against Wales. Unfortunately, Wales went home early, but with some great memories from the footage we saw of all the fans. And the hosts are through, which is often a good thing as well for a tournament. Let's cross to Switzerland.
Not for long, though.
No, they got Spain. Yeah, at least they've got through the next day.
Yes.
Tash Dowry, formerly of Liverpool and England, part of our team out in Switzerland, joins us now. Hi, Tash.
Hi guys, nice to see you both.
Yeah, they must be chuffed to have got through. Because that wasn't, definitely that was going to happen. It is a very tough game they've got this week, but still, they're still alive, the hosts in the tournament.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Switzerland. It's been nice to kind of see nations that you don't get to watch a lot and names come up that are going to be actually blessing the WSL soon. I look at Benny, who's just signed a 4-year deal at Man City, Schertenlieb, a youngster at Barcelona. I think when you look at that Switzerland squad, a lot of them are in their early 20s. So I think actually for the future of Switzerland, it's really exciting. 4 teams have gone through 100% records. The French, who obviously beat England, Norway, Spain, obviously, and Sweden, who we play on Thursday. So, the idea that we've got the easy half of the draw is a moot point. But, what do you make of the Swedes, and how tough is it going to be? I think Sweden, I always class them as like the bridesmaids of the tournaments. They are so consistent with getting into like the semi-finals, but never seem to then actually be able to achieve, winning it. And I played with many in the Swiss team, Asllani, the captain, being one of those when I was over in Sweden at Linköping. And they've got a great team, a really nice balance between youth and experience, probably actually more on the experience side. But what I kind of think is they're very similar to a French outfit. pace to burn up front, like to kind of hit teams on the counter-attack. And I actually think England struggled with that against France. I think England prefer going up against teams like a Spain, a Dutch, who like to possess the ball but probably lack a bit of pace. So I think it's going to be a really tough game. If you had asked me who I would have preferred, Germany or Sweden, I probably would have said Germany, to be honest, especially having lost against Sweden, had a player down, so that would have taken a lot out of them. But also on the flip side, I get a bit annoyed with this whole, we're trying to avoid Spain. I find it a bit disrespectful. We're the holders. You know, people should be scared of avoiding us. So, and I think probably Serena and the players feel like that. So they're just coming up at whoever they face, they want to win, and they're focused on reaching the final. But if we can beat Sweden, I really fancy us then against Italy and Norway.
The French have been great, haven't they? I mean, that was some comeback.
Yeah.
They find themselves 2-0 down and then to come back, and there's some great goals as well along the way. And they've beaten us. I mean, you know, who knows? They could go to a semi-final if they get there against Spain and cause an upset.
Yeah, I actually think this is going to be their year. Not personally maybe to win it, but to actually reach a final. I really do. I think that they have everything. The manager came in and made some big calls, leaving out, you know, Wendy Renard, Les Sommer, you know, some of their key players. But it seems to be working at the moment. And again, like I said, they've got pace, they've got everything. They've got players that are technically gifted. But if they need to have a plan B and look to go long, then, you know, the likes of Cascarino out wide, we saw how much we struggled with her. So they're a very exciting team.
Our Cascarino, of course, Tony scored most of his goals from 10 yards with headers. But, yeah, that was a great finish last night. I mean, sort of shades of Cole Palmer cutting in, but drilling it in the top corner. It was a great goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, she has everything. And I think that's probably where England, if they were to face France again, would have to do better. You can't leave anyone 1v1 in a situation with her, because you know she's going to get the better of anyone in the women's game. Pace-wise, you know, she's phenomenal. So you have to double up with her. And I think England have learnt their lesson from that first game. And like I said, have really turned it on the last couple of games against the Dutch and Wales. They were phenomenal.
I didn't hear what the fans were singing for Serena Wiegmann, but I heard her talking about it on the interview afterwards, and she said she was visibly moved by the whole thing.
Was it that loud?
I don't know what they were singing, but anyway, wherever it was, she liked it.
I'm not too sure either, actually, so I'm going to have to look into that. I mean, it was a great atmosphere in the stadium. The Welsh fans were giving just as much as the English fans, so I'm going to have to find that one out as well. But she was really happy, you know, listening to her in the presser, liked the urgency of the team. She said that was really important. And people say, yes, the difference in class was obvious, but you only have to play against who you come up against, and the way that they performed, and they were ruthless. There's 6 different goal scorers, and I think that's where England have the edge. For me, I think we have the strongest squad in the tournament, and we have goals from all over the team.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting Thursday. It's 8 o'clock kick-off. Before that, we'll find out. Well, we'll know, really. If we get through Sweden, we'll know we've got Norway or Italy. I mean, you played out in Norway as well, Tasha, didn't you, for a while?
Yeah, and in Italy, for AC Milan. So, again, I know a lot of the players, but to be honest, I think Norway are lucky to have got through. I think they've been really poor in all 3 of their games, but have seemed to grind out results. And Italy were my dark horse team. I think they actually could do really well. But again, if you're asking me, England versus them 2, I fancy us all day long.
Wow, okay. That's opened up quite nicely. We'll take that. Brilliant. Well, look, we'll catch up with you later in the week. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Cheers, guys. See you.
Here we are, Natasha Dowie there, formerly of England and Liverpool. And we're bringing that game Thursday night. So we're bringing all the closing stages: Norway, Italy, Sweden, England. Then on Friday, it's Spain versus Switzerland. And on Saturday, France, Germany. We're right across Euro 2025 for you. As we said, got a big night of boxing on Saturday. And Lions. Oh, God, it's a massive weekend, isn't it? We've got Lions and boxing.
Oh, don't forget the golf.
And the golf. Yeah, we've got the Open. We're going to be chatting to Rupert Bell a little bit later on. He's having a chat with Rory McIlroy today over at Portrush. And our team have got their accommodation, which Rupert is already destroying, as we will tell you more about later. But we're getting our postcard from Ireland with Danny Kelly in a few moments' time. We're here with Toolstation. Get fast-track delivery in as little as 30 minutes on the Toolstation app. Next stop, Toolstation. Before we chat to Danny Kelly, let's check in very quickly with Sam Ellard at Lords. Sam.
Yeah, I think, gents, when Nitish Reddy was dismissed for the final ball of the morning session, I don't think too many people thought we'd still be here at 2:50 this afternoon. But India and this 9th wicket partnership continues to frustrate England. 138 for 8 is the score. India now needing 55 to win. Jadeja's not out on 39. Bumrah's unbeaten on 4. And pretty much every over since lunch has followed the same pattern. Jadeja defends for 3 balls, then takes the single off the 4th. And then it's up to Jasprit Bumrah to try and defend the final 2 balls. Bumrah's faced 30 balls and he's done a pretty decent job so far, coming in at 10. There's been one big opportunity for England after lunch. There was the LBW shout I told you about. Wokes, the ball angling into Jadeja, was given out on field. Jadeja sent it upstairs and it was overturned. Joe Root was just coming into the attack for Bryden Cast. Perhaps that's Ben Stokes trying to lure Ravi Jadeja out of his shell into a big shot. But this non-bigger partnership is a decent one for India. It's worth 26 runs. And they'll be going for over 14 overs now. 138 for 8 is the score. India now needing 55 to win.
It was jiggery, pokery, trickery, jokery. How did he open me up? Robbery, muggery, Aussie skullduggery, out for a buggering duck.
Yes, a bit of Duckworth Lewis method.
Really, yeah.
Danny Kelly chooses the music for his Irish sports roundup. Good afternoon, Danny.
Good afternoon. I was hoping that someone would edit out the slightly the remarkable part. But I wanted to get Irish music and cricket in together, Duckworth Lewis method, as you said there. But you've already interviewed, I know, Curtis Camphor during this week, so we had that lovely moment for him. Yeah,
absolutely. That was
brilliant.
That was a great story. Let's have a look. Something we touched on last week over in the world of Irish football. It seemed a bit sad that Shelbourne and Linfield drew each other in the Champions League. So what happened?
Well, the first leg was in Dublin, Shelbourne's ground. They won by 1-0 in what was an incredible, a very cagey game, as you can imagine. But it did bring to people's minds that, Shelbourne don't play many games in Europe because they tend to get knocked out early on. But that's not because they're no good at home. As someone points out, they're unbeaten now in 11 home games. Wow. And that includes teams like Hajduk Split, Deportivo, Lille, Steaua Bucharest, as they were. So you could have predicted they were going to do well there. What happens in the return leg, I think, is what has been a problem over the years for Shelbourne. They tend to get beaten, and sometimes heavily, away from home. But just a reminder, they haven't lost a home European tie for a very long time.
Wow.
That's what came out of that.
Danny, we've talked before about Bohemians and their shirt tie-ups and how much money they make in shirts.
It's such a fabulous story.
Yeah. And I was at the Transmit in Glasgow on Saturday where...
there for 50 Cent, were you?
No, I know. I was at... He was on
you were Saturday, yeah. You missed me. Up for the Kooks, yeah.
They were great. They were really good. Anyway, Fontaine's DC were playing, and it was just full of Bohemian shirts. I mean, you could see it. At €90 a pop, you can see why they're making a lot of money from them.
Extraordinary. The club is, essentially now financed by those shirt sales. They find a cause they believe in, or usually sometimes a sort of slightly trendy pop cause that they want to back up. And when those things cross over, like with the Fontaine's DC, recent Oasis shirts, which they're selling and giving out lots of the proceeds to very good charities. They just have found a way to sell football shirts beyond the fan base, which of course is the great trick.
Yeah. Now we're doing this section because Ireland, the League of Ireland, continues when everything else. I say everything else has stopped, but with the Women's Euros and the Club World Cup, nothing has
stopped. No.
But you're saying Sligo Rovers is a team that people will know.
Sligo Rovers are having a big influence on the race for the title, not because they're in it, because they're very much in danger of ending up in the relegation playoffs. They can't finish bottom because Cork City is so bad. More about them later. But in the penultimate round of games, and there weren't many games this week because of the European ties, they drew 2-2 with previous runaway leaders Shamrock Rovers. So they gave the teams behind Shamrocks just a glimmer of hope. And the team with the most hope would have been Derry City, who were 9 points behind but had 2 games in hand. So they could have closed it up. But they played Sligo this weekend and managed to lose 2-0. So they could have closed that gap, as I say, to something manageable, but they haven't done it. And Sligo have taken on two of the best teams in the country in the last week and got a result against both of them. I also kind of brought this up because there would have to be something more interesting than that, wouldn't there? England are about to embark on their World Cup qualification, aren't they? For some people, of course, including at least one person playing in the League of Ireland, all that's behind them. Oscar van Hattem plays for Sligo Rovers, and he's a New Zealander. They've already qualified for next year's World Cup. He's already talking very excitedly about getting in the squad and all the rest of it.
Wow.
Such is the global way of football now. Some countries are already long since qualified. European countries still waiting to get on that very long road.
Now, Ramblers was the team that Roy Keane went to Forest from, wasn't it? That was his team, and they're in the news, Danny.
Yeah, they're the second team in Cork, really, Cove Ramblers. And as you say, a great history. And sometimes you might hear a story about, they've parted ways with their manager after a few months. Cove Ramblers have parted ways with their owners after a few months. They were bought 9 months ago by a company called FC32 last October. And things haven't gone very well. I suspect things are not as they were promised with FC32. They got the first hint that all was not well in what I might call the FC32 garden, because they also own an Austrian club, FC Polten, and in April they sort of backed out of the room making this noise, beep, 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 to get away from FC Polten, and they've now done the same thing at Cove Ramblers. Now, the good thing for Cove is that before these people came, the club was largely run by volunteers who know what they're doing, have the club close to their hearts, and those people have taken it over again now, and we're waiting to see if further inward investment will come. Let's hope they're a bit more reliable than beep, 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 FC32.
We've had a bit of trolling over the PA with the Aussies around the Lions. You've got a story of like that from Ireland.
Yeah, on Friday, there was a game between Cork City, who I say are absolutely nailed to the bottom of the Premier League here in the Republic of Ireland. They were playing, it's sort of a local derby, probably the nearest team to them, again, away at Waterford. They got beaten 2-0. The players went down to sort of commiserate with the travelling support. They got what you might call an unfriendly reception from the travelling fans, because they are terrible, Cork City, this year. And eventually some of them broke through what was described in the newspaper as a lackadaisical security cordon and confronted in a rather physical manner some of the Cork City players. Hats off then to the PA person organising whatever's being played at Waterford, who played the Kaiser Chiefs, I Predict a Riot, into the ground.
That choice of music at a key moment. I remember it all got a bit heated. After in Euro 96, after England-Scotland, it was a bit of an atmosphere. Obviously, the Scotland fans not happy they'd lost and everything, and the Gary McPenn and all that. And they put the PA guy at Wembley put That's Amore by Dean Martin on, and it just took the air out of the place. It was honestly, I wouldn't say everybody was linking arms, but it was a very clever use of music, Danny.
Yeah, I think I wish we were allowed to play music during the actual football matches to reflect what's going on.
That would be good.
Oh, incidentally, Andy, I need to congratulate you, a supporter of the Champions of the World.
Champions of the World. Yeah,
that's the way it is.
He's taking it in his stride.
I am, yeah.
Danny, we're out of time. We will catch up with you next week.
All right, I'd love that. Enjoy the day. Let's hope this blinking cricket gets to an end pretty quickly.
Yes.
And I'll join you all next week. We'll have more matches to report on than last week.
Brilliant. Cheers, Danny. All the best.
Cheers. Bye.
Danny Kelly, there was postcard from Ireland. 55 runs to win India need now. We'll be back to Sam Ellard in the final hour. Also in the final hour, what else we got for you today? Oh, we're talking Swansea. Snoop Dogg. He's promising all sorts to Swansea, publicising this shirt. It's interesting stuff. We'll be finding out more about that. Andy Goldstein's going to pop in. He's got a new podcast with his old mate Jason Cundy. He'll tell us more. And we'll hear from Rory McIlroy. Start building up to the Open with Rupert Bowen. So they've moved in their accommodation and he's already pulling the place apart. More on that later.
Arsenal are getting closer to signing Victor Gyökeres from Sporting Lisbon, with a deal almost agreed in principle. The Gunners are expected to pay $55 million for the striker, while add-ons are still being finalised. talkSPORT's chief football correspondent Alex Crook reckons it won't be too long till Gyökeres comes through the front door.
I think this one could develop quite quickly now. I know Arsenal have got a pre-season tour in the coming days, and I think ideally they would like their shiny new striker, and this is the first time they've signed an out-and-out number 9 in more than 3 years, to be part of that travelling party.
Meanwhile, talkSPORT understands Arsenal are close to finalising a deal worth around $18 million for Valencia defender Christian Mosquera. They're also expecting Noni Madueke to complete his medical soon, after he left the Club World Cup early and missed out on a winner's medal with Chelsea. Speaking of which, Cole Palmer admits he was a bit confused by a certain gatecrasher during his team's celebrations. It seems after presenting the Blues with their trophy, American President Donald Trump lingered a bit too long. Well, after their 3-0 win over PSG, there were some ugly post-match scenes, including manager Luis Enrique appearing to slap Chelsea's João Pedro. Although the Blues only have 5 weeks to rest and recharge before the new season begins, are they now title contenders, Simon Jordan?
I think Chelsea will be a good side next year. I think it's difficult to see them winning the league based upon what they're up against, but we don't know how these sides are going to react. The rebuild of Manchester City, we thought they were rebuilding, they get knocked out by the Saudis in a competition. And you look at Liverpool and you wonder, for the tragedy of what's happened at Liverpool, whether that will have an adverse effect, whether it will galvanise.
It might be a bit awkward in the Forest dressing room today. Morgan Gibbs-White has returned for pre-season. The midfielder was set to undergo a medical at Tottenham last week ahead of a move away from the club. And talkSPORT understands Leicester City are interested in signing Sheffield Wednesday defender Max Lowe this summer. The left-back is believed to be one of the Owls players that can leave the club on a free due to unpaid wages. Wednesday have been placed under a transfer embargo after players and staff weren't paid on time for 2 months in a row. For all your latest transfer news, head to our live blog at talksport.com.
Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT with you through until 4 o'clock. And we're going to be talking Swansea in this hour. Snoop Dogg helps launch the new shirt at Swansea City and seems to be promising a bit more involvement. I'm going to get a kind of Welcome to Wrexham-like TV show off the back of it. An Aaron Goldie-looking chain feeling, another rapper just down the road. They're Newport, aren't they, of course. Annie Goldstein's going to pop in and Rupert Bell will join us live from Portrush. We're going to begin our build-up to the Open, and Rory McIlroy has been chatting to the press today. We'll hear from him, find out a bit more about where they're staying. Many years ago, Rupert and Bob Bubka stayed at the Open in a shipping container. They shared a shipping container, which I think had been converted into a hotel room. I don't think there was just the two of them, like Dexter. But anyway, Rupert will relive sort of talkSPORT accommodation of yore, I'm sure. And I say Andy's going to pop in and tell us about the new podcast. Andy Jacobs alongside me is slightly distracted by the cricket. You're not happy with England's tactics, Andy?
No, the tactics are wrong.
Tell everybody what's going on.
Doing Stokes, he's basically giving what's his name, Jadeja, a single every over.
Right, to get Bumrah on strike.
After, and leaving Bumrah to face 2 balls. They've stopped trying to get Jadeja out, which is a mistake. That's the mistake. So this way...
And they're not scoring quickly, but they're scoring steadily.
But they're scoring 1 or 2 and over, and Bumrah doesn't he only has to face 2 balls. It's obviously it's much more likely.
So what should they be doing?
They should be trying to get both batsmen out.
Yeah,
that's instead of having all the fielders on the boundary for Jade, should actually surround him, try and get him out. I can't see this tactic makes no sense to me at all.
They've changed. They brought Bashir back on, haven't they? And Joe Root's had an over, so they're trying stuff out.
Yeah, it's looking good for India though. We'll see what happens.
Joffre's not come back on, has he, for a while?
Not for a while, no. He'll have to come back, I suppose, at some point.
Ben Stokes has been bowling a lot of overs again today, so we'll keep an eye on that.
If India win from here, they'll deserve it.
Sure.
So
I'm sure you'll be fulsome in your praise, Andy.
Well, they will deserve it. Look, to be honest, they're better than England. They are. And if England go 2-1 up, it'll be fortunate because they are the better team. They've got better players and they played better in this series, to be honest. So,
Anything else you want to discuss, Andy?
Yeah, interesting fishing story here. Okay. Anglers have been asked to report an invasive salmon species in British rivers.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Environment bosses fear the Pacific pink salmon could damage native fish stocks.
Oh.
And they've been told to remain vigilant. And this is the bit I like. Humanely dispose of the Pacific salmon that they catch. Surely that's just eating it, isn't it? How else would you humanely dispose of it?
I mean, try and frighten them. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I suppose that's what they mean. Yeah. So who's introduced them? Someone.
Well, I don't know.
So careful, haven't you? Really.
I don't know who's introduced.
It wasn't you, was it?
No, it wasn't me. No.
Okay. Well, I thought I'd clear that up.
Scottish salmon meet Pacific salmon.
Yeah,
somebody introduced them.
Couldn't understand what they were saying to each other. Katie Taylor, we're talking boxing earlier on with Derek Chisora and Spencer because we got the big fight between Usyk and Dubois this weekend for you on talkSPORT. Katie Taylor won a trilogy fight once again against Amanda Serrano. And she talked in the build-up to the fight. She played football. She was a good footballer. Played a really decent standard. And she played for Ireland. I think she did. She said what did it for her for boxing. First time she ever went into a gym. She loved the smell.
Really,
the smell of a boxing gym.
Oh, that's a bit odd.
That was it. She fell in love with the spot. I mean,
it's not a great smell, is it? That great smell of sweat. Tremendous.
Okay. Yeah. Well, anyway, well done to her.
Yes.
Always remember when we were talking about the music they play, sometimes to take the heat. Although Danny was telling us a story from Ireland where they played I Predict a Riot to some fans who were confronting their side after the match. That's not very clever.
No, not great.
Chelsea Mark said when Chelsea beat Stuttgart in the Cup Winners' Cup final in Stockholm in '98, the PA played Why Can't We Be Friends by Smash Mouth at the end of the game. All very surreal at the time. So
I don't know Smash Mouth, but it's a strange title for a song for a group called Smash Mouth.
I'd love hello guys, I'd love anything by Smash Mouth.
Why can't we be friends? Well, because you smash me in the mouth. Yeah. That'd be the answer to that one.
At full time. Once on a stag weekend in Windsor, I arranged an early Sunday morning football match for us on the party to play against a Thames Valley police team. I was the box-to-box midfielder dressed as Freddie Mercury. That's a nice idea. So you had a complete fancy. We asked you earlier on of the stag do I was at the weekend where someone was dressed as Alan Hutton, formerly of
very obscure.
Rangers Villa in Scotland.
Niche, that is.
Yeah, so we're looking for very niche, and a lot of people were coming up asking what the story was, and then other people were guessing he was. John said, "Are you John Joe Shelby?" Said, "No, I'm not, because I've got Hutton 2 on the back of a Scotland shirt," which probably tells you why I'm not. And he had some more bizarre predictions to who he's supposed to be. But anyway, very niche football fancy dress. Stag do's or otherwise. Talksport.com, text 81089, tweet TSH and J 03717223344. And as you saw, Donald Trump managed to get in the picture at the trophy lift for Chelsea at the Club World Cup. Wasn't really taking the hint. I mean, you can't really call it a hint when a player says, "Are you staying there then?" Basically, you're not going to move.
I was saying to the lads, it was a very strange half-time show. That
24-minute break.
Yeah, well, I knew that was obviously going to play in Chelsea's hands, really, because they get a nice rest in the cool conditions. But it was a really odd. I mean, the Americans know how to stage things. They know how to put on a show, and this was a brilliant. They didn't have a stage on the set. They had it actually in the stand, and it was. But there was no. I mean, it was a lot of assumed knowledge. There wasn't one intro of any of the artists, and there were no captions, and the commentator didn't have a script that said, "Oh, this is now Doja Cat or somebody else."
Oh, yeah.
And I honestly,
from the pavilion end,
the only one I recognised was Chris Martin.
Yeah,
and he was with some little bloke who was singing. I don't know who he was.
Some little bloke.
I have no idea who he was.
And here he is, some little bloke.
And then it all went a bit over the top. It wasn't exactly Live Aid.
Oh,
okay.
go,
we're so great to be here for the whole world.
Wasn't Robbie Williams on beforehand? I think he kicked it
well, he
all
might
off,
have been. I presume I didn't see that part of it, but.
But apparently, that's going to be the norm during the World Cup. Infantino has hinted at the fact that it's going to have that kind of Super Bowl vibe. But you don't 24-minute breaks for every game. And the game kicked off 10, 15 minutes late.
Every game's kicked off 5 minutes late. It's really odd.
Can't be having that at the World Cup, can you really?
They don't care, do they? He doesn't care. Honestly, he is a terrible bloke. There's no question about it. He thought
we can say nothing kinder than that.
He thought the last bloke was terrible.
Yeah.
Blatter. But he's the true levels of terribleness, honestly. But there we go. What can you do?
Yeah.
Stuart Broad is opening a third pub.
I've not seen that.
Which is great, really, because obviously his first one was destroyed by fire.
They've all got a cricket theme, haven't they?
Well, they have, but I don't think there's some quite... Whoever wrote this, Alex Diaz, I'm not suggesting he's a real cricket fan. He says, the retired England bowling great is to launch the long hop, a slow, short delivery in cricket. Well, not necessarily.
No.
The very fast long hop, if you like. And the tap and run, also a cricket term. I suppose it is, but it's not one you hear that often.
No. That's true.
It's normally tip and run, isn't it?
It is normally tip and, but it wouldn't work for a pub, would it?
Oh, that's right. Right. Yeah, that's true. You should have explained that in here.
Okay. For once, you want more explanation.
It's
from
normally
the
tip and run, but we're calling it tap and run.
Yes, that's it.
And the other one's called the Griffin Inn, which has got nothing to do with cricket whatsoever. That's true. But there you go.
That's true. Is the Griffin in? No, he was out. He went out first ball. No, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's maybe what it is. A bloke called Griffin.
So, yes, what do they need now, India? I'm just taking a look at this now. I think they're on 141. We'll go back to Sam, I think, before we chat a bit of Swansea.
They need 52 to win, and I don't know, it's just not happening, is it?
No, they just think we've got their eye in, don't they?
I don't think that's 4. I think
that's a replay, is it, or not?
Well, no. He was given us a 4. Okay. I don't think he played a shot at that.
Okay, well, look, the skipper's trying to get them all going. The Indian fans are starting to believe.
It's under 50 now. I'm going India win this.
Oh, you are the eternal.
No, but I think
optimist.
unless Stokes changes tactics, you've got to try and get Jadeja out. You can't. This isn't working. What he's done for an hour now isn't working. So sometimes there's a point in the game where you have to go, this isn't working, we've got to try something else.
Okay.
Otherwise, if he carries on like this with these tactics, India will win the game.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that for you. But we are going to talk Swansea City and their tie-up with Snoop Dogg very shortly. As we said, Andy Goldstein popping in to tell us about his new podcast with Jason Cundy. And we're off to the golf as well, ahead of the Open on Thursday at Port Rush. We're here with our very good friends at Toolstation. You get fast-track delivery in as little as 30 minutes on the Toolstation app. Next stop, Toolstation.
Big fight preview on talkSPORT with DAZN. Watch Usyk versus Dubois on the 19th of July, live only on DAZN. Buy now at dazn.com/boxing.
Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Now, last Saturday, talkSPORT hosted a fight night special looking ahead to this weekend's massive fight as Usyk takes on Dubois once again. All this week, we'll be playing a best bit from the show with DAZN in order to build up to the fight. Here's Daniel Dubois' trainer Don Charles speaking to Adam Cattrall and Gareth A. Davis.
Me personally, this is not sounding, people perceive me as this arrogant person. I'm not, I'm far from it. Yeah? I don't expect anything from anybody, and that's the truth. It's for myself, my family, my loved ones, yeah? Anything I achieve, okay? But for Daniel it deserves to, like he always says, put some respect behind my name. So for Daniel's sake, yeah, Daniel the fighter who actually gets in the ring to fight, he deserves to be. All the people who always persecute and keep saying bad things about this young man, just get off his back. For me, I'm an older person, I can take it. So I'm not looking for, how can I put credit from anybody? Like I said, as long as my family and my loved ones, my close friends know who I am, that's good with me. But I don't need people to praise me. I'm not in it for that, and that's gospel truth.
There we are. That was Don Charles, Daniel Dubois' trainer. Listen again.
Wide.
Pardon?
Sorry, the umpire's just given a wide.
So I'm just broadcasting here. I know you're watching the cricket. I don't mean to get in your way. Sorry about that, Andy. Listen again to the full Fight Night special on the talkSPORT app. And don't miss a moment of the action this Saturday. Watch Usyk v Dubois live only on DAZN. Buy now at dazn.com/boxing. The fight is also live on talkSPORT.
Big fight preview on talkSPORT with DAZN. Watch Usyk versus Dubois on the 19th of July, live only on DAZN. Buy now at dazn.com/boxing.
1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door, ready to make an entrance, so back on up, cause you know we're about to rip it up. Give me the microphone first so I can bust.
We're going to be talking about Snoop Dogg next and his connection to Swansea City. If you haven't seen the story, that's probably thrown you off slightly. But let's check in very quickly with Sam Ellard, watching England versus India. Andy thinks the tactics are all wrong, Sam.
I don't agree with these tactics from Stokes. He's got to try and get Jadeja out. It's just daft. You know, you just...
I completely agree with you, Andy. This is... India look comfortable with this. I mean, I mentioned in my previous update, they're following the same pattern pretty much from the first over and from lunch. Jadeja is more than happy to see out the first couple of balls. Get a single on the fourth ball or third ball of the over. All the fielders for Jadeja are pretty much out on the boundary. And then sort of trust Jasprit Bumrah to face, the final two balls of the over. And again, Jasprit Bumrah's faced 50 balls. He's played one shot on anger when he pulled Joff Archer for a 4. But yeah, at the moment, India look incredibly comfortable. And I do wonder whether maybe the tactic might be, as Andy says, maybe bring in a couple of fielders and almost try and encourage Ravi Jadeja to play an aggressive shot to go over the fielders, because if he does that, sure, a couple might go to the boundary, but he could miss time one. So I do agree. I think England got to try something here. Perhaps that tactic should be bring fielders in and almost say to Jadeja, if you want to get a run, you're going to have to go over the top and beat the fielders, because he's got 42. Bumrah's got 4 runs. He's faced 50 balls. They've batted for pretty much the whole of the afternoon session, and it's 47 more runs now for India to win. It's slowly edging down, guys.
Yeah, they're the favourites now. If he keeps this tactics up, England will lose.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that for you. There's another 20 minutes until tea, of course. But back to Sam a little bit later on. Now, we played you a bit of Snoop Dogg there and Dr. Dre. So the reason we play it is that he's put out a video as Snoop Dogg wearing the new Swansea shirt, and quite enticing. It sort of sounded like, he could be heading down to Mumbles for some fish and chips anytime soon.
It's a lovely area.
I think we can bring you the video. This is what he had to say.
Hail to Wales and the Swansea City. It's your boy Big Snoop Dogg, coming to a hood near you. Oh yeah, these are the new jerseys.
Jerseys. Fantastic.
New Jersey.
Yes, they're not the new jerseys. So let's find out more. What do the Swans fans make of it from the Swanscast podcast? Luke Davis. Hello, Luke.
Hi, how are you going?
Yeah, good. How do you feel about this sort of celebrity endorsement?
Well, we've had a kind of crazy year when it comes to celebrity endorsement. We obviously had Luka Modric earlier in the year, and now Snoop Dogg out of nowhere. We've all been eagerly waiting for news on the kit, and it's kind of been nothing. And all of a sudden, that came out of nowhere on Saturday. So, by all accounts, it looks like he's going to have a similar involvement, we believe, to what Luka Modric has got, but there's not really any detail on that yet. So we were just waiting for more news. I think this is a little bit of a cliffhanger tease from the club. Just eagerly awaiting what is actually going to be officially announced in regards to the partnership.
How do you feel about it? I mean, it is quite exciting in some ways, but it does take you kind of slightly further away from the kind of, the core audience for the team. And, last time I looked, neither of them are Welsh, are they?
No, I think it's the club's spoken a lot in recent years about trying to get revenue into the club from other avenues. And I think this is obviously a new approach brought in by the new ownership that took over back in November last year. And it's generating a lot of excitement at the end of the day. It's a different approach. There's a lot of more publicity in a lot of other areas of the world. And I think if they can try and tap into other markets to help us increase the finances, in other areas, because we're in South Wales, there's a limit perhaps of what you can generate down here, and the Championship is ever more difficult in the financial landscape. So I do think it's a good approach, and hopefully the rewards can come down the line. I know the Luka Modric input so far has been quite beneficial when it comes to our transfer strategy, and a lot of players have taken note of us a little bit more than they might have otherwise because of his involvement. And I know he's been speaking to players, so he's probably more involved football side. I guess Snoop Dogg is more to grow the public image generally in other areas that might not have been.
That is the right way around, I have to tell you. Yeah. You wouldn't want Snoop Dogg in charge of the football and Modric in charge of the social media.
Quite a laid-back approach to matches, I would imagine, if Snoop Dogg was in charge.
Excuse me.
Doing the defensive drills.
Get a halftime show on the go as well, is it? With all I know that's all the rage after the Club World Cup, isn't it? So.
You don't want that. 88.5 million followers he's got, the paper tells us, on Instagram. So it's got to be good for shirt sales.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking earlier on about Bohemians and Fontaine's DC, and you can generate an awful lot of money from shirt sales these days. So that notoriety can't hurt, can it, Luke?
No, I think obviously there's a lot of parallels as well with Wrexham and their story and the way that their American involvement has been positive. We've had American owners for a long time. They changed hands at the end of last year to other people in charge, still American, but it does seem we're going more into the publicity route, like Wrexham, for example, and they did kind of do a little bit of banter with Wrexham in the post for the kit. Before the video came out, there was a post. Ryan Reynolds was in the picture with a picture of a dog. And in response, we showed them Snoop Dogg, essentially, was the banter they were going for. But trying to make it, I guess, like who's the bigger team in Wales. Don't know if you're going to call it a derby. I don't personally think it is myself. But we're trying to have a bit of friendly banter, friendly rivalry. And I think this commercial avenue and trying to tap into it is quite similar to what they are doing, maybe on a lesser scale. But I think they've set a good example of what you can do well and where you can grow money into your club from other areas. So maybe that's where a little bit this is coming from. And I think other clubs perhaps doing similar. Birmingham obviously got Tom Brady involved. So I think there might be a trend that we see a little bit more of going, in years to come with other teams in lower leagues.
And of course, you'll be playing Wrexham this season.
Which is good because Cardiff went down, wasn't it? So
you've still got a derby. There'll be a bit of edge to that, you think, Luke, yeah?
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying. It's not the derby like Cardiff is, but in terms of who's the biggest club in Wales, there's going to be that aspect to it. So we maybe call it a friendly derby. We're having a bit of banter between the clubs and making it a big deal for Wales rather than a derby like the South Wales derby would be, if that makes sense. I just think it's quite important to distinguish that. But I think it's going to be a good game, and both teams obviously want to win it. And ultimately, it's the challenge now to see who can finish the highest. For Wrexham, it's an opportunity they haven't had for a long time. So they're going to want to definitely maximise their chances of being ahead of us this season.
Brilliant. Good to talk to you, Luke. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Luke Davis from the Swanscast podcast there on Snoop Dogg. Let's head back to Lords, where there's been a wicket, Sam Allard.
Yeah, after nearly 2 hours of the afternoon session and over 20 overs, England finally have got their 9th wicket. Jasprit Bumrah occupied the crease for 53 balls. He did so well for the majority of them. He did his job in terms of just blocking, and trying to give Jadeja as much of the strike as possible. But then on his 55th ball, he just couldn't help himself. It's a short ball from Ben Stokes, and Jasprit Bumrah says, I'll have some of this. He tries to pull it, it goes high in the air, and it's the substitute Cook who takes a good catch at mid-on. It was in the air for a long time. He had to run back, he took the catch, and that brings Mohammad Siraj to the crease. A few boos from the people that are here at Lord's. He's had plenty to say throughout this test match. He's given a couple of the England batsmen a few send-offs. We've got 3 balls left of this over. This means with England searching for 1 more wicket and India 9 down, we won't have tea now at 3:40. They'll play on for an extra half an hour to see if this game can be wrapped up in that half an hour. India 147 for 9, 1 wicket for England to win, 46 runs for India as Mohammad Siraj is about to face Ben Stokes. 3 balls left in this over.
Thanks very much.
Bumrah made a really tactical error in the previous over. It was the 5th ball, and he stole a single, which he should never have done, and it left him facing the whole of the next over, and then he got out.
He did, he whacked one right.
Whereas they went away. Well, that was exactly what they hadn't been doing the whole afternoon.
Yeah,
so
as Sam said, he just couldn't help himself.
In the end, he couldn't.
That's right. Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs. So we got at least another half hour. So they'll keep going, and we'll let you know how things pan out. Just 1 wicket required for England now, and it's 46 runs for India to win it. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT, and we're going to be joined by Andy Goldstein earlier than usual because he's going to tell us about a little project he's involved with his old mate Jason Cundy from the Sports Bar Days. That's coming up, and Rupert Bell's going to join us, and we'll hear from Rory McIlroy ahead of the Open.
Arsenal are getting closer to signing Victor Gyökeres from Sporting Lisbon, with a deal almost agreed in principle. The Gunners are expected to pay $55 million for the striker, while add-ons are still being finalised. talkSPORT's chief football correspondent Alex Crook reckons it won't be too long till Gyökeres comes through the front door.
I think this one could develop quite quickly now. I know Arsenal have got a pre-season tour in the coming days, and I think ideally they would like their shiny new striker, and this is the first time they've signed an out-and-out number 9 in more than 3 years, to be part of that travelling party.
Meanwhile, talkSPORT understands Arsenal are close to finalising a deal worth around $18 million for Valencia defender Christian Mosquera. They're also expecting Noni Madueke to complete his medical soon, after he left the Club World Cup early and missed out on a winner's medal with Chelsea. Speaking of which, Cole Palmer admits he was a bit confused by a certain gatecrasher during his team's celebrations. It seems after presenting the Blues with their trophy, American President Donald Trump lingered a bit too long. And talkSPORT understands Leicester City are interested in signing Sheffield Wednesday defender Max Lowe this summer. The left-back is believed to be one of the Owls players that can leave the club on a free due to unpaid wages. Wednesday have been placed under a transfer embargo after players and staff weren't paid on time for 2 months in a row. For all your latest transfer news, head to our live blog at talksport.com.
We're going to be chatting to former referee turned analyst Christina Uncle shortly. Why does it never kick off in women's games? Or does it? Let's find out from Christina, who refereed enough of them over the years. Before that, though, 21 minutes to go is the brand new weekly podcast from Goldstein and Cundy, and it's out now.
Hi.
Hi. I'm just doing the intro bit first.
So excited.
How it works.
So excited to be on the Hawksbee Jacobs show.
Yeah.
One of my favourites on.
I just said, look, don't be nervous. Just be yourself.
Sorry.
Just be yourself.
Great show, love it.
Yeah. Each week, the former late night superstar. Did you write?
I did write that.
The former late night superstar duo will offer a flavour of the good old days in a no holds barred adults only show. Is it a bit of blue
swearing?
For the dads?
A lot of swearing.
A lot of swearing. Yeah. I've never heard Jason swear. Does he swear?
Potty mouth.
Oh, you've got to be joking. I mean,
it lasts exactly 21 minutes and not a second more.
Yeah.
So let's bring you a little taster of it before we chat to Andy, where this is Jason explaining how he and his siblings got their names.
I was named after Jason King, the detective.
Right, okay. So your brother's Dave?
Dave.
Who's he named after? David King.
King David.
Right.
Is that King David?
And what's your sister called?
Victoria. Queen Victoria. Her name's Victoria.
They were named after royalty, and you were named after
I was just named after
fictional detective.
Who was called King.
Sounds great, doesn't it?
I don't know if
what you'd expect.
I don't know if Jason's looked it up, but Jason King was in a show called Department S. It was an actor called Peter Wingard, and he had quite a fruity backstory. So maybe you want to explore that.
Okay, we'll do that.
On
I
a later
haven't written tonight's podcast yet, so we'll do that.
Yeah. So 21 minutes to go. New weekly podcast, Goldstein and Cundy, available now wherever you get your podcasts, with new episodes dropping every Monday. So how long are they then?
They're bang on 21 minutes, and so the cut, I don't know if you've listened to them yet.
No, I haven't had the chance. I didn't know about it till today.
The cut comes right in the middle of something where you don't want it to come, so it's quite annoying. So my idea is that loads of people will subscribe, and then in about a year's time I'll introduce a paywall, take loads more money off people, because this is free at the moment. And then
so you get to the end of the story,
then you get to the end.
Interrupted.
But it's the reason we did it is because there aren't enough podcasts about at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think that everyone's attention span is not what it used to be. Like sitting down and listening to a podcast for an hour, it just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
And I thought, because I'm editing it, I do the whole thing is done by me. So I edit, produce it, everything. I wouldn't say write it because there's nothing written in it, but I do. And I just thought, if I'm going to do a podcast with Cundy, I need to make it as short as possible so I can edit it as quickly as possible.
Will you take questions as time goes on?
It's a good question, Paul.
Yeah.
We do the first part of the podcast is listeners' questions. They can actually DM today at 21 questions. 21 is a number.
Yeah.
And that's the first part of the podcast. And then another bit of the podcast is we write. The idea is we write Cundy's autobiography throughout the whole run of podcasts.
Yeah.
So episode 1 is chapter 1 of Cundy's life when he was born, and then we move on from there.
Right.
And there's his love of animals in it. And then we've recently introduced Sports Spa, trip down memory lane, talking about the old days in the Sports Spa, funny stories, behind the scenes.
Yeah, what went on?
And well, I mean, it's 21 minutes. There's not too much you can cram in.
No. Okay.
But
well,
we
that's a
love
good
it.
idea. I tend to agree with you. I find sometimes,
Thanks,
if
Paul.
a podcast is like 90 minutes, I just haven't
Why haven't you listened? It's only 21 minutes.
I didn't know about it until we came in. I'll have a listen on my way home.
No, but is that like an empty gesture? Like, I'll promise you, but you won't listen.
No, I'll have a listen.
Okay.
I mean, look, probably won't.
What's it going to take?
That's the honesty I like. I prefer if Paul's honest with me.
It's 21 minutes. If I can't give you 21 minutes after all these years.
Hold on, why won't you listen to it, Andy? Do you know what?
Only because I don't really listen to podcasts. I'm more a radio man myself.
It's the same sort of thing, right? It's just spoken words.
I don't know.
Let me ask you this question.
You like the immediacy of radio, do you?
Because your knowledge of comedy is so great and you've been in the industry for so long, I would appreciate your feedback.
Oh, all right. Yeah. That's very sweet.
See, if you build it up that way, he'll listen to it. It works, doesn't it?
Do you know what sort of ego he's got? It's all it took, isn't it?
Because you're one of the greats.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't get Eric Morecambe anymore.
One thing you did with him that I loved, I think it was one of the greatest bits of radio ever, was during COVID. Your bar that you had, you ran that virtual pub. It was such brilliant radio.
They were tough times, right? We talk about that in one of them, actually. We talk about a tech op we had called Josh. Do you remember Josh?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, dear. So we talk about him in it.
We did have a.
By the way, he was so bad. He got promoted here.
Wow,
that's a true story.
Okay, what about
that? Happens to referees, I believe I've heard.
Well, not to our next guest, Andy. Thank you very much.
Our time's up.
That's it.
Yeah, Can I just say you're one of my favourite shows on talkSPORT. I love Drivers.
Thanks very much.
I think that's
it's always great to meet the listeners. So thanks for popping in.
I love it. You've been doing it years. How long have you two been together?
Still getting away with it. You're back at 4 with you and Ben.
Is it worth going upstairs? 20 minutes?
No, I'm going to have a cup of tea.
Okay, I'll do that.
Cheers, Andy.
Thanks for it. By the way, can you download it? I should say that.
Yeah.
Can you download it? 21 minutes to go from Apple, from Spotify.
Yeah.
And
it's just on the talkSPORT app as well, is it? I take it. It will be.
No, actually.
Should be. It should be.
Shouldn't it?
Deserves to be.
All the podcasts.
Andy, will you report back?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Will you come back on my show and report back?
All right.
Do you promise?
Do notes.
That's legally binding.
Brilliant.
God bless you. Great
Cheers,
listeners you got.
Thank you very much. So, at the end of the Club World Cup final last night, it all kicked off. Even Luis Enrique got involved. We had hair being pulled. We had people being pushed in the face.
It's good to know they can take defeat with grace, isn't it, PSG?
It wasn't a great look, really. So, does this ever occur in the women's game? Former referee turned refereeing analyst, Christina Uncle joins us now. Hi, Christina.
Hi, gentlemen. How are you?
Good, Christina. In your experience in women's football in the States and beyond, have you ever had to break up many fights, or does that not happen much?
It doesn't happen very much in the women's game that you get to a level of that much mass confrontation during a match and or after a match. It has happened. It has occurred. Refereed matches in Central America. Interesting enough, it was with the Venezuelan team. Thankfully, I was not the center referee, but there was a loss of control in the game, and it was probably one of the most fascinating things I've ever seen, where basically you had 22 players fighting and the coaches. So it did remind me yesterday of Luis Enrique and then everyone at it. But very surprising to see that that's how it ended up kicking off, 3-0. You would think that as from the refereeing standpoint, there was nothing necessarily controversial on those goals, that everything would be something simple to walk off. But I think that's an incredible reflection of, doesn't matter how decorated you are as an official, any game could go wrong if it's not managed properly within the game and post-game.
Also, hair pulling. Mark Cucurellis, the third time his hair's been pulled. I know a lot of the girls have their hair up when they play, but an awful lot don't. I mean, is that something that you've encountered, pulling players back by their hair? in women's
Yeah,
football.
that was interesting. That's interesting for me because Cucurella does. I think this is his third time, as you mentioned. I'm pretty sure I've tracked him, and actually, as soon as I saw us, people should start betting how many times his hair gets pulled. Beautiful mane in the men's game is apparently an advantage for him to get penalties, right? But in the women's game, it doesn't happen as often as you would think. Yes, the hairs are up in a ponytail. There is if those who want to take a look, you would Google it. It's basically hair pull, college women's soccer. And there was kind of a categorical historical one where one girl just took a ponytail and yanked it down.
Wow.
So for us here in the United States, a red card, straight, direct is considered violent conduct out of the gate, fighting words. That I can tell you would probably get women to start fighting. That's a fight. Those are fighting words.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could see from ref cam the ref didn't see it. You know, he did need the video to help him, and. I quite like. I can't. What do you make of ref cam? Because the only thing I like about it, I just want when Palmer scored, I wanted the ref to jump up a little bit, just like a little celebration.
What, like he enjoyed the goal?
Like he enjoyed the goal,
he
but
can't
he didn't
do that.
No, he didn't.
Believe it or not, referees are also football lovers at heart, right? We're obviously doing the game because we love the game. Because trust me, there's no love and adoration as a referee. The ref cam for me doesn't really, maybe because I've had that same perspective and that same view, so it's not showing me something that I've not seen myself personally. I think it's a little probably enjoyable for the fan and for that perspective. But I do have a question for you all. Because this is something very Americanized, is halftime interviews of the players. That's something that I know Cucurella ended up doing a halftime interview. I don't know, and having this limited experience with England, it's not something that you all do from a media standpoint. So I was kind of curious more on your perspective, because I'm not a big fan, but it's a very American thing to do in our sports.
Well, it's utterly pointless. I've asked the listeners to fill out a bingo card that every time the player says, well, there's still 45 minutes to go. Yeah, it's good. I'm pleased, but it's another half. You know, that's all you're ever going to get.
No player's going to want to tempt fate. They're going to do it though, Christina. I think next season during the Premier League coverage, maybe they'll abandon it after the experiment of the Club World Cup. Because I'm kind of with you. What are you going to get out of the players? And I'm not necessarily that interested in what they got to say at half time.
Yeah. No. Okay. Good. I'm glad we're on the same page. But no offense to all the TV producers who enjoy it. I haven't found the value in it yet.
I've watched that hair pull. ESPN call it one of their great moments in sport. So they obviously thought it was quite a good thing from college football all those years ago.
What I was wondering was, and I've thought this for a while now, but you'll often see in a close game or even in any sort of game where one team's trying to waste time. But what they'll do, they'll start an argument, they'll start a fight, and then there's a lot of pushing and shoving, and then the ref gets involved. And meanwhile, like 2 minutes go by, and they never add that time on. It's not like an injury or anything like that. So I just wonder if it is a tactic.
Oh, it's definitely a tactic. It's definitely a tactic. It's something that I call the dark arts, right? It's the ability to add that additional or to waste time. An official may add maybe 30 seconds. As to your point, they might have taken a two-minute delay, add that 30 seconds.
No, she's sitting in the she's in the States.
Because it's America. I was thinking, oh my God, she's driving.
She's not driving, no. She was in the passenger seat, but we have lost her. Thanks to Christina. We'll catch up with her again soon, I'm sure, before the end of the Women's Euros. But we're off to Portrush next, where the Open takes place on Thursday. Rupert Bell's in situ. He's already smashing up the accommodations like Led Zeppelin. And we'll hear from Rory McIlroy. And the cricket continues. 150.
43 wanted, 1 wicket left.
Yeah, 43. Jadeja's there on 45. Siraj keeping out of trouble on 0. Anyway, up to Portrush shortly. It's Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT with Toolstation. Download the Toolstation app for fast track delivery on thousands of products. Next stop, Toolstation. So, the Open Championship kicks off this Thursday at Royal Portrush. World number 2 and former Open champion Rory McIlroy was speaking earlier today on how happy he is to be back in Northern Ireland, head of the tournament.
2019, I think it's amazing that Portrush has this opportunity so soon after the last Open to host again. And yeah, just, great to be back. I don't spend a lot of time in these parts anymore, just with travel schedule, living abroad, all that stuff. So to be here, to see a lot of familiar faces, even some of the, every, hole on the course has a different team of marshals from different golf clubs, and then just to see people that I've met throughout the years out there this morning was really nice. But yeah, it's really nice to be back, and obviously very, very excited for the week.
I went there a couple of years back. Nice part of the world. Lovely, joining us now, man, who almost certainly will be barred from the Harbour Bar before the weekend's out. It is Rupert.
Very harsh.
Rupert Bell. Good afternoon, Rupert.
Rumours of my being banned. I may be banned from my accommodation, which is another story.
Yeah.
The travails of going on tour. But anyway, I shouldn't really complain. It is the Open Championship, and we are in the funny parts of the country. And I tell you what, the student accommodation I am, things are falling off the wall. And yes, but anyway, we'll get through this week from that point of view, and I'll keep out of the Harbour Bar. But I'm just delighted to be back in this beautiful part of Ireland. Giant's Causeway up the road. Yeah. It is a stunning sort of area of Northern Ireland, and they're going to have 278,000 people, I think, over the week. It's a sellout. What more could you want? The weather's got an open feel about it. There's a bit of rain around. I mean, I know there are hosepipe bans in mainland Britain, but over here they've got rain. They had a thunderstorm this morning that meant the practice run had to be sort of curtailed for a little time. So I think we're in for a proper week of open weather for us to enjoy.
You have, with this footage we've seen today, maybe they'll put it up on social media, of you tried to open the window in your student accommodation, and you don't know your own strength, Rupert. You've ripped the handle off the window.
Yeah, it was already ripped off the window, So this has been spruced up. I don't know when the university term ended up here in the University of Ulster, when it ended, because they've had plenty of time to clean the rooms. They may not have cleaned it since May, by the looks of things. Anyway, so it's going to be quite interesting. We've got one shower between four of us, one loo between four of us.
Blimey.
So it's going to be, but we have early starts, so it's going to be first into the shower. And anyway, hey ho, it's all part of life on the open road.
Yeah.
I shouldn't complain. I should be grateful to be here.
Of course.
But I thought my student days were well behind me.
Yeah, that's not like talkSPORT not to have first class accommodation. I can't believe it.
Well, I'm not going to blame talkSPORT, because it's what we were offered by the RNA. They also got a high regard for talkSPORT then.
A busy period for you, Rupert. I mean, you've had Royal Ascot, then you had Wimbledon. Now you've got this. I mean, it's non-stop, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good topic of conversation between Mrs. Bell and I.
Yeah.
Darling, are you home at all? And why not?
Yes.
When are you going to? But I love it. I've been very lucky to be able to do all three, and then we got Glorious Goodwood in a couple of weeks' time as well to look forward to. So it is my sporting summer, and yes, Wimbledon. I love it. It's a little. I do 1 week of tennis a year, and I absolutely, or 2 weeks, love it. And to be down there is fantastic. But the Open, this is, I think, my 25th Open. So I'm really looking forward to. Again, our first one I went to was Tiger Woods in 2000, when he ran away with it at St Andrews, and I've been doing it ever since. And it's a real privilege to be up here. And Rory, to come back here, he's quite right. Within 6 years, St Andrews tend to be every 5 years, because obviously it's the home of golf, and all the mystique and cachet that goes with that. But for this to come back so quickly after a long gap before it was staged here shows just how much not only the Northern Ireland, but the whole of Ireland has embraced this, and how important it is. And, it's a money-making machine for the RNA, the fact that they are back here so quickly, and other courses on the open road are missing out.
Rupert, taking into account the course and the likely conditions, what you were just saying about the weather, who are you favouring? Who's it going to suit?
Well, it's quite interesting. The way Rory is talking, off the tee, you've got bunkers all over the place, but it's not, he said some open venues, you can sort of grip it and rip it and take the bunkers out of play. It doesn't matter. If you go with a driver, you'll find a bunker in play. If you go with a 2-iron, you'll find a bunker in play. So you've just got to commit. With the rain, Shane Lowry in his press conference a few moments ago said the course will play quite difficult, and it won't be easy if we have weather like we had today, which has been breezy, sunny, so it'll be a proper open test. So it is a fabulous course, fabulous backdrop. So he's not expecting anyone to run away with it by 6 shots. So, I do fancy Sepp Straka. Now, you might say, why? Well, he's top 10 ranked in the world. He's won twice on the PGA Tour, although he's missed all 3 cuts in majors, but he does have good open form. He played well at Hoylake a couple of years back. He's been in consistently good form, and I think could be a surprise package in a way. As I say, he's won twice on the PGA Tour, so and his open form bears close inspection. So I think he could be a very interesting contender outside the sort of big 2 of Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy.
Just very quickly, because we're nearly out of time. We've got just under a minute on this, really. What about the optics? You've just been at Wimbledon for a fortnight. The optics of the 2 winners of the men's and women's, having both failed drugs test and got what in many people's eyes were too lenient, a charge afterwards.
Look, Sinner and Alcaraz are clearly the best players out there. So they're getting to, I understand that. But the ATP and tennis authorities do seem to be far more lenient with the top players than sometimes the lesser players when they get into trouble. And I thought it was telling that Nick Kyrgios, who's obviously been doing some work for talkSPORT, put a tweet out with an asterisk against and I do think, Sinner got away with it because he was given a ban that basically meant he missed absolutely nothing of consequence. So I think the ATP need to take a long, hard look at themselves, but I'm not decrying the fact that Sinner is a fabulous player. No. But, and there is a big but.
And Swiatek also served a short ban. So, Rupert, we'll catch up with you later in the week. Thanks very much.
Look forward to that.
There we are. There's Rupert Bell there, booked Royal Portrush for the Open. 153rd Open Championship tees off at Royal Portrush this week. You'll be able to hear live commentary on talkSPORT 2 from 7 a.m. on Thursday morning. The easiest way is to download the free talkSPORT app and swipe across to talkSPORT 2. The cricket continues. 35 to win. 50 up for Jadeja on 53.
It's too easy. Just let him off strike. It was far too easy.
Fantastic. Well, there we are. Let's see what sort of mood Andy's in when he comes back on Wednesday. I'll be here with Charlie. Coming up next, it is Andy Goldstein and Darren Bentwood Drive. We'll catch up with you tomorrow.